Alright, so the video I made where I rebuilt the Toronto Maple Leafs until franchise mode ended did pretty well. So we're going to be doing that exact same thing today, except I'm doing the Montreal Canadiens. Now, as we know, this is going to be an incredibly long video, so grab some popcorn, get some snacks. We're going to be here for a minute. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Slavkovsky, you're going to be our big three for a majority of this video. And when I say majority, I mean until you retire or you're 35 years old and your overall is dropped. These three guys right here, they're going to be leading us to greatness. This team also has a couple other nice young pieces. Kirby Dachs here, Alex Newhook, both these guys are 22. Brendan Gallagher, I'm going to be shipping you out as soon as possible. Defensively, you know what? This is going to need a lot of work. Caden Gooley, I'm expecting you to be leading the way for us in the future. But the rest of these guys right here, it's not looking too good. A handful of you guys are going to be traded. And to cap it all off, the goaltending situation here, we don't really have a superstar goaltender. I don't think Montreal can be that guy for us. So you know what? We're going to be bringing in a goaltender pretty quick here. The defensive core is going to begin to make over. This Montreal team is going to be changing a lot. Then again, it is a 25-year rebuild. By the end of it, every single player you see here is going to be gone. Now, as I said, we do have to bring in a goaltender. We are going to have to fix the defense up a little bit. So why waste any time? Let's start doing that in year number one. Also, while I try to figure out which goaltender we're going to be acquiring, this is how many subscribers I have. I'm trying to hit 60K by the end of the month. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. And also, since this is going to be such a long video and I have to put a ton of hours in here, can we get 5,000 likes? And also, similar to the Toronto Maple Leafs rebuild, if this video gets 7,500 likes, I'll buy a Montreal Canadiens jersey. I'm always standing on business like that. Okay, so a deal like this is actually very interesting. We get rid of Matheson's contract and we also ditch Jake Allen. I mean, Matheson's contract's not that bad. He's an 86 overall, 29 years old, but we would pick up a young guy in Devin Levi who'd be the future goaltender for this team. And we also pick up a young Jack Quinn. He's an 82 overall and he can play some top 6 minutes for us. I think he'll be the second line sniper for us. I think this is a smart move right here. Now, I highly doubt that Buffalo's going to be accepting. Oh, okay, they actually are going to accept this. Okay, maybe we can get something else in this deal. Yeah, I was fully prepared for Buffalo to say no to that, but maybe we can get a 3rd round pick as well. I'm going to offer that over. They're saying no, but if we just have to include a 7th rounder to get that 3rd rounder, then that's definitely worth it. So here you go. Here's the 7th rounder from the Montreal Canadiens, and we got this deal done just like that. Now, obviously, I'm going to make it clear right now, we are not going to be competitive this season. The goal is to not be competitive. We just want to build for the future. Okay, so I think that's actually going to be the only move we make here. Jack Quinn is a pretty solid fit on this second line alongside Newhook and Kirby Dach. The real question is for the future, who's going to be the guy for us? Is it going to be Kirby Dach or is it going to be Alex Newhook? Newhook does have a better fit on this line, so I think it could be him. But you never know, we might be changing coaches in the next couple of years. A lot's going to depend on that. Now, the defense clearly isn't looking good because we did lose our best defenseman. So Gooley and Barron, you got to lead the way. A 21-year-old and another 21-year-old. What could possibly go wrong here? Now, Devin Levi, I'm going to be honest, I'm not really expecting too much from you. You're probably not going to get a majority of the starts this season. And I feel like that's actually going to hurt you. So maybe we will trade Montreal just so we can make sure that Devin Levi gets all the starts. That's actually what we're doing. Montreal, I'm trading you as well. Okay, so Montreal, I do want to get rid of you because I want Devin Levi getting all the starts. I'm packaging you up along with the prospect. We're picking up Boquist from the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think he could be a top defenseman for us. They're saying no to this deal, but you know we have to throw in a lucrative 7th round pick. That's always making the difference here. I'll give you a 7th round pick for 2025. I don't know why a 7th round pick is always the difference maker, but it is. And Boquist, welcome to the team. All right, so let the tank begin. Year number one. This team is not winning more than 32 games. I'm just going to make that statement right now. We're going to be one of the worst teams in the entire league. Ain't no way our first preseason game, we're shutting out the Detroit Red Wings, and we won 3 straight games. Did we go 6-1 in the preseason? Okay, we went 5-2. It is the preseason and we beat Toronto in game number 1. That's actually pretty funny. You know what? I've done enough yapping here. Let's simulate up to the trade deadline. Okay, how this team is successful, I have no clue. But what makes it even worse, 7th in the entire league. So we're not going to be getting a top pick. But you know what? We're competing for a playoff spot right now. Actually, more than a playoff spot. We're competing for 1st in the entire league. 36, 23, and 4. This right here makes absolutely no sense. And what makes even less sense is defensively, we're 4th best in the entire league. We do remember what our defensive core looks like, right? How is that 4th in the entire league? Cole Caulfield, it's no surprise you're leading the way with 63 points. Nick Suzuki, fantastic, 62. Jack Quinn, what a great pickup that was. He's got 48 points. Slavkovsky, 38 points here. Honestly, I'm not going to complain. You have elite potential. I already know for a fact you're going to develop into an absolutely fantastic player for us. Meanwhile, Devin Levi, you're him. Plain and simple. 28 wins, 3 shouts, a 919, a 272. I did not expect your numbers to be this good. especially for year number 1. If they continue to get better after this as we improve the team, nah, this man might post a 930 and a 180. Alright, so Brendan Gallagher, you don't have negative trade value right now because you've been somewhat decent this season, so I'm trading you a 3rd round pick and a 5th rounder over to the Nashville Predators, and we're picking up stick on the ice legend Luke Evangelista. Please become the greatest player of all time. If you don't know, I've been opening some hockey packs recently. I think I have about 9 Luke Evangelista rookie cards. It doesn't matter what pack I open, Luke Evangelista rookie card, almost a guarantee. So I'm sending this package over, we're dumping that money. Luke Evangelista, welcome to the team. Also, just because I'm yapping right now, I'm going to continue to yap about hockey cards. I opened an 8-pack box the other day. I got a rookie Cole Caulfield, a rookie Jeremy Swayman, and a rookie Jamie Drysdale all in one box. I mean, granted, the cards don't have that much value, but even still, it's amazing how that happened. So this is going to be the last move we make at the trade deadline. Christian Dvorak, David Savard, and a 7th round pick is going to be sent over to the Washington Capitals. We're picking up Rasmus Sedin. He fits on the second pairing. That's exactly where we need him. He's a good young defenseman. Why are you acting like this is a steal? I just added a 7th rounder into the deal, right? All I included was a 7th rounder. That is very strange. What also makes it even stranger is I tried to offer that exact same package without the 7th round pick, and they said no. The second I added the 7th round pick, apparently it was a gift. It was a 7th round pick I sent, right? Yeah, I literally sent them a 7th round pick. I don't know, Washington's bugging. Now, Luke Evangelista, Newhook, and Jack Quinn, you're going to be the second line for the future. It actually makes a bit more sense to have Luke Evangelista play on the 3rd line. But you know what? I want him getting some top 6 minutes. Meanwhile, Rasmus Sedin, you're going to be holding it down that second pairing. You have a pretty solid line fit there. This was a great pickup for us, no doubt about it. Now, to close the season out, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this team completely fell apart because we did make some questionable moves. But hey, we all know it's not about this season, it's about the future. And that's what we're preparing for here. Okay, I'm just completely confused with Montreal. A 47-30-5 record. The offense wasn't good by any means, but the defense was absolutely spectacular. How our defense is this good, I have no clue. 5th in the entire league. I think if you actually look at our offense here, it definitely wasn't one of the best in the entire league. I think it was arguably one of the worst. Like, we were mid when it came to offense, but our defense, spectacular. But you know what? That's a great sign for what's to come for this team because the offense is going to continue to get better. Cole Caulfield, he's leading the way, 86 points. Nick Suzuki's actually tied. He's got 86 as well. Jack Quinn, 61 points. Evangelista, what'd you do since joined the team? I'm hoping you had a pretty good run here. No, you did not. 8 points in 19 games and you were -7. It's not a good luck for you. But then again, if you turn out to be a 3rd line guy for us, I'm not going to complain with that as long as you play your role. And when it comes to the goaltending numbers, Devin Levi, you're him, plain and simple. 36 wins, 4 shots, a 918, a 272. For the next 12 years, you're a guy. Expectations at the beginning of the season were incredibly low, we all know this, but somehow we're in the playoffs, so you might as well continue to exceed expectations and win a Stanley Cup. It's not really that hard to do. All you have to do is win 16 games. Alright, so unfortunately, I don't think we gained 16 wins here because we've only picked up 1 so far and we're in game 5. But we're picking up a 2nd win here. Can we get a 3rd win in game number 6? It doesn't look like that as we're going to be dropping that one 3-2. Now, to be completely honest, I think we all knew this was going to happen. Montreal exceeded expectations like crazy. Give this team about 2 more years. So there's actually 2 important things to note here. Number 1, Vegas won the Stanley Cup, taking down the Florida Panthers 4-1. So a rematch of the Stanley Cup final. Number 2, Winnipeg didn't make the postseason, meaning they're a lottery team. We have Winnipeg's 1st round pick. So yeah, we might actually be getting a top pick in this draft. Obviously, we lost in the 1st round, so this team's not going to be performing. I really don't care about that. Devin Levi, your numbers, they're not great, but you know what? I don't care because I want to know if we're getting a top 5 pick here. Imagine if Winnipeg was the worst team in the entire league and we end up getting the 1st overall pick here. So we're similar to the draft lottery results. We're getting 6. We're getting the 6th overall pick in this upcoming draft. No, that's huge. Alright, so our scouts did an atrocious job here. I know for a fact Sam Dickinson has medium elite potential. I'm not 100% sure if this player right here has medium elite potential. We're going to hope for the best. If he doesn't have medium elite potential, I'm going to be incredibly upset. We're taking a risk here. A 78 overall. Okay, I will definitely take that. Okay, I found this strat like a week or so ago, and honestly, it just completely breaks the game when it comes to drafting. The 24th overall pick and a future 5th rounder over to the Buffalo Sabres for Tiga Ginla. They're going to be saying no to this deal, and honestly, they should be saying no. But what if I give you another 5th round pick, all of this for Tiga Ginla? They're going to be accepting the trade. So we have to remember, 2 5th rounders and the 24th overall pick. Now, where was Tiga Ginla drafted? Tiga Ginla was drafted with the 3rd overall pick. So Buffalo selected Tiga Ginla 3rd overall, and I got him for 2 5th rounders and the 24th overall. In no world should this ever have been accepted. Now you might be thinking, well, why didn't I just trade the 24th overall pick and 2 5th rounders for the 3rd overall? You can't. The actual pick itself has way too much value. The player, on the other hand, not even close. So with all the other picks we have here, we're about to trade them as well. So now that we know how trading works in this game, this man was selected 11th overall. I'm going to offer you the 60th and the 88th. I think that's enough to get this deal done. The 60th and the 88th overall pick for the 11th. That makes sense. So basically, if you're not guaranteed to get a great prospect late in the draft, just trade your picks and get top 10 players. It's that simple. Ryder Ritchie, you might be the next guy we acquire. And to cap off the draft, the rest of our picks for this upcoming draft and a future 2nd rounder over to the Ottawa Senators for Hemming and Ryder Ritchie. I don't think we're getting both of these guys, never mind we are. I did not think that package was going to be enough. We just got 4 amazing prospects. Normally I'd trade like the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounders for future 3rds, but instead we're using them to get quality prospects. So with this being such a long rebuild, we're not messing around when it comes to extensions, long deals only. Rasmus Sedin, I'm giving you 3.1 for the next 8 seasons. That contract's going to age really well for us. We're doing whatever we can to save money. Justin Barron, we're basically going to do the exact same thing with you. 8 years, $2.2 million. That's another incredible deal, especially if you're playing top 4 minutes for us. Wi-Fi, I'm going to keep it $150 with you. I'm not doing that long of a deal for you. We'll do 4 years at 1.4 though. Tanner Pearson, we're going to let you walk. Chris Weidman, you're also going to be walking. I'll sign a couple of these RFAs and some of the young guys, but outside that, if you have AHL potential, you're not returning to the team. Okay, Rasmus Sedin, don't do me dirty like that. You gotta sign an 8-year deal with the team. He just declined our last offer, so I'll do 3.3 for the next 8. There's no way he declines this deal. If he does, I will give him 3.4, but I'm trying to save money where I can. Alright, 3.5 million, that's what you're getting. I'll actually pay you more money than what you're asking for an 8-year deal. And 3.5 million is actually not the end of the world for Rasmus Sedin. He's 24 years old. We're going to keep him on the team till he's 32. I mean, that's a complete lie. You are going to get traded eventually. That happens all the time. Rasmus Sedin, welcome back. Alright, so Stick on the Ice just realized his mic was muted, but he gave out big extensions. Jack Quinn, I think I gave you 6.1 million. Boquist, 5.5-ish. Slakowski, 7.2. Caden Gooley, we did 3.9 for the next 4 years. Evangelista, 2.5 for the next 8 years. And then Devin Levi, we did a pretty solid deal with you. It's like 5.7 for the next 8. Yeah, so note to future Stick on the Ice, keep your mic turned on. Man, the Edmonton Oilers are just a bunch of kings, taking on Josh Anderson's contract for absolutely nothing. What a bunch of morons. Okay, so we have a ridiculous amount of money to work with. I'm talking $38 million. So if I have to give Forsling more than what he's asking for to bring him to the team, I'm absolutely going to do that. 7.9 is very expensive, but he is an 86 overall. We have money to work with here, so why not make some moves like this? And then Chatfield, I'm actually going to do a long-term deal with you. We're doing 5 years and we'll do 2.5 million. The reason I'm doing this is you fit on the 3rd pairing, and it's actually pretty difficult to find players to fit on the 3rd pairing. Another reason we have to spend a lot of money here is we're actually below the salary cap floor. So we just gotta throw bags at people just for this season. And Max Domi, what type of a bag do you want? Here's 3.5 for the next 5 years. We know how your progression works in this game. We'll trade you 2 years down the line when you're an 87 overall and have ridiculous trade value. Tyler Bertuzzi, I'll also give you some money. Why not? We'll do 5 years at 3.8 million. That's another incredible deal for the bottom 6 here, or even top 6. Who knows where you're gonna be playing? We basically have unlimited money to work with, so let's spend some of it. Tolvanen, you're still a pretty young player. 3.3 for the next 4 years. Could be a pretty solid move for us, especially if you develop. And to finish it all off, we're going to do William Carrier to a 2-year deal. Actually, let's make that a 3-year deal, and we'll do 2.5 million as well. We'll bring him onto the team for the bottom 6. That's going to round out our forward core. We also upgrade our defensive core here. I'm not expecting us to compete for Stanley Cups, but we just need to buy some time here. Now we're in our 2nd season of the rebuild, but I'm actually very happy where this team is sitting. Nick Suzuki, Slakowski, Cole Caulfield on the first line, a +5 boost. Tolvanen, Newhook, and Jack Quinn on the second game, a +2 boost. Tolvanen's actually having a much better line fit than I was expecting, so I'm definitely going to take it. The bottom 6 here is absolutely incredible, the lowest overall being an 81. We can work with that. I mean, I would like Luke Evangelista to be playing on the 3rd line here, but you know what? If he plays on the 4th line, we get a +1 boost. He's going to hold it down there, and we're also not paying him that much money. His extension's like 2.5 for the next 8 years. Even if he has to play on the 4th line, that's a good deal. Defensively, we're actually pretty strong here. Chatfield's the lowest at an 80 overall, but he's going to be paired up with Gooley, Sedin and Barron, and then Boquist and Forsling. That's a pretty strong top pairing. While the goaltending situation, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit disappointed. Devin Levi, you're an 82 overall. Bro put up incredible numbers last season, but is only an 82 overall. I was fully expecting you to be an 85 this season, but hey, if you post numbers similar to last season, you're going to be an 85 in no time. After last season, expectations for the Canadiens were fairly high, 12th in the entire league with a 30, 22, and 10 record. The offense is better this season, but the defense definitely has taken a step back. Over 3 goals per game, not what we're looking for here. And surprisingly, one of the things actually holding us back is our top line. Cole Caulfield, 57 points. Nick Suzuki, 54. But Nick Suzuki is -5. Cole Caulfield, he's -1. Slafkovsky -1. Like a negative plus minus, we can't be having that. And I'm assuming Devin Levi's numbers aren't as good this season. Bro, what happened to this team? Because on paper, we're definitely better. So now that we've seen this team decline a little bit, I think that means we have to make some trades. And what are those trades going to be? I'm not really too sure yet. I was looking at Adrian Kempe, but I just feel like he doesn't fit the timeline here. Now this might be a bit of a riskier play, but I actually think in the long run it could work out for us. Kirby Dach, a first round pick over to the Minnesota Wild, and we'd pick up Joel Eriksson Ek. Now Eriksson Ek, he's a great two-way forward. However, I don't know if he can fit on the second line. I think it's worth the risk though, because if he can fit on the second line, that would be massive for us. Him, Jack Quinn, and Newhook, that would be an absolutely elite line for us. However, if I'm offering you that, you got to give me something back in return. Maybe a third round pick or something. A third and a second I don't think would be possible, but maybe a third and fourth round pick. So I'm going to offer that package over. They're saying no. I'll take out that fourth round pick, and I think we might be able to get this done. Unfortunately, they're going to be saying no to that as well. Maybe if I just get some picks for this season, you don't want the Nashville pick and you don't want Minnesota's fourth rounder. So I'm going to offer that over. They're still saying no. Take out the fourth rounder, and I think this is enough to get the deal done. Unfortunately not. I guess we're just picking up Joel Eriksson Ek in this deal. At the end of the day, this is making us a better team. We just got to get a bit risky out here. And Eriksson Ek's only 28 years old, so we can hold on to him for another 5-6 years. Alright, so after the trade deadline, the Montreal Canadiens actually stepped it up a little bit. We're going to be finishing 10th in the entire league with a 42-29-11 record. Not really too happy with that, but our offense is not too bad, 3.43. That's better than last season, so it's a sign we're headed in the right direction. And the defense, it was actually better after the trade deadline. So given everything, this team's looking pretty solid. The first line, however, I need better production of you top guys. I can't be having this right here. 78 points leading the way. That's not good enough. What also isn't good enough is Devin Levi's numbers here. He's up to an 84 overall, so I guess there is that. 31 wins, 1 shutout, a 907, and a 305. If you can step it up in the postseason and post some historic numbers, then I'll take back everything I said. I mean, I actually didn't really disrespect you. You're 23 years old. I'm not expecting you to turn this team into Stanley Cup champs in 2 years. I wouldn't be against it, but I'm not expecting it. However, if we do lose in the first round here, I will be incredibly upset. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. You don't lose in the first round to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Alright, man, this is not a good look for us. We're down 3-1 in the series. Game 5's a big one. We're going to be taking that one 4-3. Can we make a 3-1 series comeback against the Toronto Maple Leafs? That would be hilarious. Never mind, we're getting smoked in Game 6, 7-3. That is a tough look. Slafkovsky led the way, 7 points in 6 games. I guess that is a slight positive. I mean, at least the young guys continue to improve here. While the rest of the team, yeah, this ain't it. Joel Eriksson Ek, 3 points here. You're -2. Not what I'm looking for. What'd you do since joining the team? I never checked that out. 12 points in 20 games. Yeah, that's not it. But you know what? I know you're going to be better next season. Meanwhile, the goaltending numbers, I'm going to pretend I didn't see those. Okay, so this is back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals now where it's been rematches. Colorado's taking down the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. Last season, it was Vegas versus Florida. Does that mean the Montreal Canadiens are somehow going to take on Tampa Bay in the conference finals? Does that mean we can't take them on in the Stanley Cup Final? And before Colorado versus Tampa, it was Tampa versus Montreal. And then the year before that, it was Tampa, Dallas. And then the year before that, it was the greatest year of all time, St. Louis. Okay, this is slightly embarrassing. I was talking about how the St. Louis Blues were Stanley Cup champions 5 years ago. Here's them getting the first overall pick. Yeah, the fall off happened quick. Okay, I saw some stud that just got drafted by Detroit 12th overall. We're trading our first round pick for him. There is no reason that this guy should be as good as he is. Bro is entering the league at 17 years old as a 78 overall with 2 X factors. This is a no-brainer. No, the fact that the 22nd overall pick is going to be getting this man right here is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's going to cost a bit more than the 22nd overall. We also have to add the 118th, but even still, there is no reason this deal should get accepted. And that's not the only elite defenseman we're getting here, because we're also getting Hjalmarsson from the Philadelphia Flyers. He's a 77 overall that was drafted 14th. Nah, this is absolutely wild. The fact that we're getting these great prospects, like, bro's a 77 overall to begin his career. We have tons of time to work with here. We'll let him develop in the AHL for a little bit, let him develop in juniors, but when he joins the team at 82 overall, those picks we gave up, definitely worth it. Now at this point, I'm actually just scamming teams. The rest of our draft picks here, and I have taken a look at the draft. The best chance we have of getting a medium elite potential player is projected 300th overall. If you're projected 300th overall, you're not going to be a medium elite potential player. So all these picks right here, including a 7th rounder, and we're going to get this prospect from the Colorado Avalanche. And you might be wondering, who is this prospect? Like, is he any good? Yeah, he's pretty good. Like, when I say he's pretty good, he's a 77 overall at 17 years old. He could jump into the lineup next season, play some 4th line minutes. We're not going to rush the process though. We're going to allow him to develop. Okay, Hyndman, you're an 81 overall. You could potentially develop into something because you're only 23 years old. 1.8 for the next 8 years. Yeah, we're getting kind of ridiculous out here. I'm actually going to do 1.9 just to make sure he comes to the team. Jake Evans, I think we're going to let you walk here. Nothing against you, but we just have some replacements in the system. So I really like the direction this team's heading. All the young guys continue to develop here. Just the forward core is absolutely spectacular. The fact that we have an 86 overall Tavan on our 4th line says quite a bit. Hyndman just got an absolute bag. We gave this man $1.9 million for the next 8 years, so we're going to give him some top 6 minutes now. He's an 83 overall. He's going to develop into a spectacular player. And then 87 overall Max Domi, 86 overall Joel Eriksson, and then 85 overall Tyler Bertuzzi are going to hold it down the 3rd line. This 3rd line could be the first line on a handful of teams. Defensively, we're going to see Ryan Brocker jumping into the lineup this season, and Chatfield, you're going to continue to hold it down the 3rd pairing. We're going to see Justin Barron being a healthy scratch, but you know what? I think it's better for the team because Chatfield, he has that better fit on the 3rd pairing. Meanwhile, the goaltending, Devin Levi, you're up to an 85 overall. You continue to develop. Now that we have a great defense and forward core in front of you, I'm expecting spectacular numbers. A 930 and a 175, that should be the minimum. Now I'm incredibly disappointed with the Montreal Canadiens right now. 8th in the entire league with a 35-22-6 record. We should be better than this. The offense is not that great, about the middle of the pack, and the defense, also the middle of the pack. We're not good offensively, we're not good defensively. We've heard this story before. But I feel like it's only a matter of time before the big players in this team take huge steps. Nick Suzuki, 69 points here. Cole Caulfield, 62. Slafkovsky's got 46 points here. He's an 86 overall. He's going to develop some X factors. Jack Quinn, I'm expecting a bit more from him. Honestly, I'm just expecting a lot more from a handful of guys on this team. And to cap it all off, Devin Levi, 29 wins, 3 shouts, a 906 and a 294. These aren't necessarily the worst numbers in the world, but they're certainly not the best. Also, what's Joel Eriksson up to? I know I have him on the 3rd line. I'm not expecting him to do too much, but even this is a bit disappointing. I'm not going to lie. 30 points here. Yeah, you got to be doing a bit more than that. What am I talking about? That's Bertuzzi, but he still has 30 points as well. So Joel Eriksson, maybe step it up a bit. Now, I guess the real question should be asked, are we going to rush the process here? Because I don't think we're ready to compete for a Stanley Cup, and we're certainly not ready to win one. So do we make any stupid trades here? I think the answer is no. Like, unless we can pick somebody up that's, say, like 27 years old where it actually makes a lot of sense, I don't think we're going to make any moves here. Carter Hart, we're not going to trade for you for many reasons. But yeah, Sonny Milano, even that doesn't really make much sense for where we are right now. So I think we're not going to make any moves here, and we're just going to rock with the team we have. I know for a fact we'll be making the playoffs, but after the postseason, we'll make some moves accordingly. I really just want to see how some of the guys develop. Slafkovsky, you got to get some X factors. Jack Quinn, you should get some as well. Once we know who's going to be the big time performers on this team, then we're going to know who we have to trade away and who we're going to keep. So I clearly made the right decision on not making any trades. We're 2nd in the entire league with a 49-27-6 record. We won 10 straight games. This team's absolutely locked in right now. We're playing our best hockey at the right time. 3.57 goals per game, while the defense below 3 goals a game. No, that actually makes no sense. We should not be this good right now. Then again, if you look at our team, we should be this good. And it looks like the big time players are starting to make some big time plays here. Nick Suzuki, 89 points. Cole Caulfield, 77. Slafkovsky, he's up to 66 points. Forsling's leading the defense with 58 points. I really can't complain with what this team did. Everyone stepped up when they had to, and the goaltending numbers, I'm assuming Devin Levi's are looking a bit better. 40 wins, 3 shots, a 906 and a 291. These are looking pretty similar here, but with how the team's playing right now, I'm not sure if there's any team in the league that can stop us. So let's not waste any time here. Let's jump right into the postseason, and it looks like we're taking on the New Jersey Devils first. So after dominating in the last 10 games of the season, we're not looking too hot right now. We split the series 2 games apiece, but luckily we're winning game 5, and we're hoping to close this out in game number 6 here. I don't necessarily want to go to game 7, but it looks like that's exactly where we're going. So here we go, game 7, the Montreal Canadiens taking on the New Jersey Devils. This is going to be a big one, and we're scoring a lot of goals here. We have a 2-goal lead entering the 3rd period, and we're closing this out in a 5-2 victory. Montreal's looking fantastic right now. This team's absolutely rolling, and I don't think it's going to be stopping here. So we clutched up in game 7, and that's allowing us to move on to the 2nd round. And in the 2nd round, we're going to be facing the Detroit Red Wings. Now, I'm not too sure who Detroit has on their team right now, but if all the young guys develop for them, they're going to be a pretty tough team. Okay, yeah, so you know how I said Detroit was going to be a tough matchup for us? I was completely capping. This team sucked. We took them out in a 4-game sweep. We scored 9 goals here, 5 goals here, 4 here, and 4 here. We absolutely dominated from start to finish. So this team has all the momentum right now. We've won 5 straight games, and that's including a sweep over to the Detroit Red Wings. We're moving on to the conference finals where we have the Carolina Hurricanes. Real talk, Montreal is just a different beast right now, and I really can't see anyone stopping us. It's also important to mention the Colorado Avalanche. They just got swept in the second round to the Chicago Blackhawks, but we definitely can't be sleeping on those Blackhawks because they do have Connor Bedard, and that's really all they need. Also, Edmonton didn't make the postseason. We're in the year 2026, and the Oilers didn't make the playoffs. Just thought I mentioned that. Okay, so I guess I ran my mouth a bit too much when I said that nobody can stop us because we're down 3-1 to the Carolina Hurricanes, and we're falling in 5 games. Spoke a bit too soon there. So at least I can say we lost to the Stanley Cup champs. Carolina is going to be taking down the Chicago Blackhawks in 5 games, but even still, we shouldn't have fallen there in the conference finals. We really upset ourselves. Nick Suzuki, 23 points, Cole Caulfield, 22, Slafkovsky, 19, what's he up to? Still an 86 overall. I'm kind of expecting the progression to step up a bit with these guys. Meanwhile, the goaltending, Devin Levi, 9 wins, 1 shutout, a 900 save percentage, and a 314 goals against. I really need this to be better if we're going to be winning Stanley Cups. But hopefully after the offseason here and the guys continue to improve, we're going to be in a better spot, and I think this team actually might be Stanley Cup favorites next season, as long as everyone continues to improve. If everyone stays the same overall they are right now, then we might be in a bit of trouble. Alright, so you already know what we do, and we have a first round pick that doesn't have much trade value, and we can't get a good prospect. We're going to trade it away over to the San Jose Sharks. We're getting a 74 overall who was selected 10th overall. We're also going to be getting a future 3rd round pick in the process. Of course, we're not going to be getting the 3rd round pick, but we're going to get a 4th or something. So you got to give me at least a 4th round pick. I don't think we're going to be able to get the 4th rounder. I guess we are. So we got that prospect right there, but we're not quite done yet. And that's not going to be the only trade we do because I'm shipping a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th over to the Boston Bruins. And we're getting this guy who has top 4 potential. Boston thinks they're getting a steal here, but we really gave them no good picks, so I don't know what they're talking about. So this is probably the last trade at the draft here. I'm basically going to do no drafting this video because unless I'm guaranteed a good prospect, I don't want to waste picks. And I can get this guy who has top 6 potential, so why not? I'm sending all this over to the Seattle Kraken. They're going to be saying no, but I think we have a 6th round pick we can also throw into this deal. So there you go, the 190th overall. I'm going to send all this over. They're still saying no. I'll give you another 6th round pick. I think that'll be enough to be the difference. So all of this right here sent over to the Seattle Kraken, and we're getting this deal done. Another young prospect for the core. Low key, we're never going to have to worry about not having any young players because I've acquired so many good ones that are going to continue to develop. We're going to be fine in a couple years. So David Reinbacher, there's absolutely no reason you should be accepting this deal right here, but I think you're going to be. It's going to be 2.7 for the next 8 years. Locking down a medium elite potential player like him for the next 8 years at that price, absolutely unreal. So when it comes to the offseason, we're really not making any moves here. We're not signing any players. We just gave out a couple of extensions. I think we only really gave out 1 extension, but we're basically just going to run it back with the exact same team. A lot of the young guys are even better. This team's actually elite, and our prospect pool is absolutely incredible. Easily the best in the entire league. I don't see anyone stopping us this season, plain and simple. I think we could potentially be a 60-win team. So I am a little disappointed in the development. I mean, Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield are looking great. Slafkovsky up to an 87. He's got an X factor. Behindman and Jack Quinn, I was expecting a lot more from you guys. I was thinking 87 overalls for both of you guys, and you would have X factors. This young guy we drafted a handful of years ago, 6th overall. He's jumping into the lineup this season. He's up to an 87 overall. He's going to be an absolute beast. The bottom 6 here is absolutely fantastic. I really can't complain what we have here. Defensively, we're also in a really good spot. David Reinbacher is jumping into the lineup, 82 overall. He's going to be playing some second pairing minutes for us. Meanwhile, Devin Levi, you're still an 85 overall. I'm starting to get a bit concerned with you because I was hoping you'd have X factors at this point, and if you really don't progress anymore, I'm not really sure if we can win with an 85 overall goaltender. I mean, that's a complete lie. We absolutely can if we have to, but I would like an 87 or even an 88 overall goaltender. Also, this power play looks absolutely incredible right there. But in all seriousness, we're a 55-win team. I'm not too concerned with how we're going to perform. I know for a fact we're going to make the playoffs. We just have to perform when it matters most. So simply, the Montreal Canadiens have been a massive disappointment. We're actually worse than we were at the trade deadline last season. We're sitting outside of a playoff spot, I believe, 13th in the entire league with a 33-23-4 record. The offense is really good, but the defense, absolutely terrible. We got to tighten that up. Like, offensively, I think we're the best team in the entire league. We're top 4. However, when it comes to defense, yeah, we're not good by any means. So out of all the players on this team, who are we going to potentially trade away? I'm not going to lie, Tyler Bertuzzi, you're one of the guys I'm thinking of trading away. We just got to fix up that fourth line. We fix up the fourth line here, and I think we'll be in a good spot. The goaltending numbers, I'm not expecting those to look too good. Devin Levi, 25 wins here, 2 shouts, a 900 save percentage, and a 320 goals against. I'm going to make a statement right now. If we do not win a Stanley Cup this season, I'm trading you away and we're bringing in a new goaltender. We actually might do that this season, who knows? Because like UC Saros is available here. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to trade for UC Saros. Devin Levi, you're just not that guy. I take that back because Nashville does have Askarov. He's an 88 overall, has a ton of X factors. He's younger than Devin Levi. If we could secure him in a trade like this, then that's definitely the move. I don't really know what else we're going to have to give up here. Probably a couple picks. But you know what? I'm not against trading third round picks. So here's 2 third rounders added into this deal. I think that might be enough to get Askarov. It doesn't look like it will be. How about a second rounder? So here's a second rounder and a third rounder, and the second rounder has quite a bit of value. I'm going to send that over to Nashville. They're still saying no. I guess we'll add a prospect into this deal because I know we have a few. Actually, why am I talking about prospects? Because Tyler Bertuzzi, I was contemplating trading you away. So what if I throw Tyler Bertuzzi in this deal? In exchange for Tyler Bertuzzi, just give me a young player here. This guy's 20 years old and he's a 74 overall. So this package right here for Askarov and Koivu, I think this could be the move. They're going to be saying no. I'll throw a third rounder in the mix. That's probably the most I'm willing to offer. I mean, we can change the package up a little bit, but for this right here, this is the offer. Devin Levi a second, 2 third rounders and Tyler Bertuzzi for Askarov and Koivu. I'm sending that over. They're saying no. We just got to change this package up a little bit. So I'll just take on this prospect that basically has no trade value. We're going to get a 4th and 5th round pick. They're going to be saying no to that. I'll take the 5th rounder out. I'll send this package over. They're still saying no. How about I take out the 4th rounder? So we're basically just acquiring Askarov for Devin Levi a second, 2 thirds, and Tyler Bertuzzi. This is a huge move right here, but I think that actually moves us into Stanley Cup contention. Now I think that's going to be the only move we make here, and I think at the end of the day, although we lost Tyler Bertuzzi and he was good for the bottom 6, we're in a better position. Like, we just brought in Askarov, got a massive upgrade in the goaltending department, and I think that's going to be the big difference. If we don't improve after the trade deadline here and we miss the playoffs or something, the head coach is getting fired straight up. He might really be the issue here. Because the team we have on paper, we're a Stanley Cup team. There's no question about that. We should be top 5 in the entire league, but we're just not living up to expectations. Now, we are making the playoffs here, but it's not like the team looked good by any means. We're going to be finishing 12th overall with a 43, 32, and 7 record. The offense was pretty solid, and the goaltending, yeah, we're just not going to talk about that. I mean, I shouldn't say the goaltending. The defense as a whole was not good on this team. Nick Suzuki, 89 points here. Cole Caulfield, 73. Slafkovsky, 70. The rest of the forward core, they're producing offensively, but the problem was defensively for this team. And Askarov, what'd you do since joining the team here? I'm expecting somewhat decent numbers. A 913 and 284. That's a big step up from Devin Levi. But even in saying that, look at these numbers. An 8-6 and 2 record. With these type of numbers and the way this team's scoring, I'm expecting better. But if we perform when it matters most, and that's the postseason, then I'm not too worried about this team. We're going to be taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning first. We got to make a statement here. A quick sweep over the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that proves we can compete with the best. Alright, Montreal, what are you doing here? You won the first 2 games and you've dropped 2 in a row here. Let's not make it 3 in a row. That's a big win in game number 5, and hopefully in game 6 we can just move on. I guess not, because we have to go to game 7. Game 7 is always a nerve-wracking one. We're either going to win this and advance to the second round, or we're going to be done just like that. The third period is going to be deciding this one. I'm going to go ahead and simulate it. Cole Caulfield, he's picking up the big goal in this game, and we're going to be advancing. Back-to-back goals here. I mean, I shouldn't say back-to-back, because this one was in the first period, this one was in the third, but it doesn't matter. We moved on to the second round. So that Tampa series was a lot tougher than I was hoping it would be, but you know what? We're moving on, and a win is a win. We've got the Toronto Maple Leafs next. I'm not losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs, plain and simple. Let's just move on from this team and get to the conference finals. So we're messing around with the Toronto Maple Leafs here. We're keeping them in the series, but in game 5, we're going to take over. We're winning this one, and then in game 6, we're going to close this series out. No surprises here, as long as this simulates. There we go, a 6-1 win, and we're off to the conference finals. I feel like the Montreal Canadiens team right here just might be one of those teams that constantly disappoint in the regular season, but when the playoffs come around, they just step it up. We're taking on the New York Rangers next, and the winner of this matchup's off to the Stanley Cup final. So here we go, we're taking it one game at a time. When I say one game at a time, I mean we're simulating and we're getting swept. Okay, that is tough. Back-to-back conference finals exits, and in the 9 games we played in the conference finals, we've only won 1. That's not a good sign for this team. When push comes to shove, we fold. And after a deep run like this and losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champions, I don't necessarily want to can our coach, because we did just go on a deep run here, so I think we're going to be bringing him back for another season. But when push comes to shove, this team did not perform in the conference finals once again. The offense looked great, but the defense, I mean, the goaltending was better. I don't know why I always say the defense and then show the goaltending numbers, but it doesn't matter. A 918 to 291, these are pretty solid. I guess the offense just has to be better. Alright, so moves are happening at the draft here, and Pittsburgh just drafted this kid. He's like 18 years old, and he's already a 79 overall to begin his career. Yeah, I'm definitely going to trade the 29th overall pick for that. There's no doubt about it. I don't even care if I get this 4th rounder. I just want this prospect right here. And that's not the only prospect we're picking up, because there's another great one that just went to the Boston Bruins. In order to acquire this prospect, though, we are going to have to ship out Justin Barron, a 4th rounder and a 2nd rounder. But this man's also a 79 overall. He's a left defenseman. I believe he's a defensive defenseman, selected 6th overall. A 79 overall who was selected 6th overall, I'm willing to trade some assets away for. So we couldn't get done with the last package, but I feel like if I throw Owen Beck into this one, it's going to be pretty easy to get done. We have so many good prospects right now, it makes absolutely no sense. I also decided to use 2 picks in the draft because why not? 2 bottom 6 potential players that are like 50 overalls. That's why we trade draft picks away. Okay, so during the re-sign phase, I can't see us doing a ton of moves here, but Alex Newhook, 2.2 for the next 3 years. I feel like that's a fair deal for you. William Carrier, we're probably going to let you walk here, and then a ton of guys right here are going to get signed to 2-way deals. Okay, so never mind. We're actually going to have to give Alex Newhook a bit more money. We're going to do 2.5 for the next 3 years. I feel like that's a fair contract for him. William, Carrier, and Harris, I'm letting both of you guys walk, though. Alright, so we have 3 guys who we have to bring back here. Festerini, Tolvanen, and I believe Askarov also needs a deal. Askarov and Festerini are coming back, no questions about it. Tolvanen, probably not, but we might trade you away because I think you're going to have a lot of trade value. But Festerini, we're starting with you, and we got to give you an 8-year extension. There's no doubt about it. So how does 9.5 for the next 8 years sound? I think that's a fair contract for you. Now with Askarov, I would do an 8-year deal, but then he's asking for quite a bit of money. I think we're going to do a 7-year deal at, say, $6.5 million. Actually, how about we just do a 7x7 with Askarov to keep it simple? So here you go, $7 million for the next 7 years. Tolvanen, I'll just inquire about what you're asking for. $6.1 million. Yeah, we just can't have that happen here. Now, I think what this team needs right now is a sniper for the bottom 6, because although we have one on the 3rd line, we don't have one on the 4th. I think that's the role that Sonny Milano could fill. So Evangelista and Massaro, I'm going to be sending both of you guys over to the New York Rangers. They're going to be saying no to this deal, but we just have to throw a pick in the mix. So here you go, here's a 7th rounder, and that's going to be enough to get this deal done. So Sonny Milano, welcome to the team. Alright, so I actually don't think we really need Newhook for the bottom 6 anymore, so I'm going to ship him over to the New York Rangers, and we're going to acquire 2 3rd-round picks. But the reason we're acquiring these picks is we're going to be flipping them. Alright, so I think it's about time we trade a 1st-round pick away, and I'm going to be packaging up with these 2 guys right here in order to get Evanson. He's going to be a massive upgrade to our defense, and honestly, I think that's one of the weak spots on this team, so I'm going to send this package over to the Detroit Red Wings. They're going to be saying no, but I'll throw a few more draft picks in the mix here. So here's 2 3rd-rounders. I think this should be more than enough. I'm going to send this package over to Detroit. They're going to be accepting it, and we just saw a massive upgrade to our defense. Okay, so in my eyes, there's a very good chance we win a Stanley Cup this season. Not only is this team much improved, but we have better line fits across the board here. I want Ryder Ritchie playing on the right side, seeing as he is a right winger / center. But this team right here, very good. The defense saw a massive upgrade. We brought Evanson in. He's going to be playing some top minutes for us. This defense is much improved as well, and we already know who our goaltender is. That's going to be Askarov, 88 overall. That's a massive upgrade from Devin Levi. I've been saying massive upgrade a lot to describe this team, but that's exactly what it is. We saw upgrades across the board here. This team's just in a much better spot. So Montreal was looking so good, decided to go right to the end of the season. We're second with a 55-23-4 record. I'm very disappointed we didn't finish first, but you know what? With the way the team's looking right now, okay, why did New Jersey have to beat us in basically every category? They were first in the entire league, they were better offensively, and they were better defensively. So the team was definitely producing this season. Just look at the offense. We knew how to score goals. Defensively, though, we're about to find out how good we were. Askarov, 49 wins, 7 shouts, a 912, and a 264. Yeah, these are good numbers. Devin Levi could never. Speaking of Devin Levi, let's actually see what he did this season. I'm not expecting him to do too much. He was the backup. He's really the backup for Nashville right now, and he's getting paid $5.8 million. How much is UC Saros getting paid? So they're spending over $12 million in goaltending, and they're getting a 904 and a 317 and a 901 and a 320. Making that trade was definitely the right move. So the Montreal Canadiens have never looked this good. We're flying offensively, we're fantastic defensively, we have the Buffalo Sabres in the 1st round. I already know for a fact this team's making it to the conference finals, but don't fold this time. Back-to-back seasons we've lost in the conference finals, but not today. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, y'all scared me in those first 2 games. I really thought we were gonna get swept here, but that's fine because we're winning 3 straight games and we're about to make it 4 straight and we're off to the second round. A 7-3 victory. We're done messing around here. The offense has taken over and so is the defense. We're ready to compete with the best in the league because we are the best in the league. Okay, Montreal, we cannot screw this up because the Devils are out in the first round to the Detroit Red Wings. Whatever you do now, do not lose in the postseason. It's our year to win. Everything is going our way right now. Just don't fold. In all seriousness, why does Montreal have to make everything so difficult? We've split the series and now we're down 3 games to 2. Do not lose here. That's a massive win right there. 6-3 and we're off to game 7. All right, so here we go. Game 7 of the second round. I feel like every time we've been in the second round, it's gone to game 7. That's actually a lie because we swept Detroit. I'm yapping right now, but all I know is we're going to blow this. Never mind. 5-3. I just saw these 3 Toronto goals when it was simulating, and I thought we really blew the lead. But no, we're going to be taking this one home 5-3, and we're off to the conference finals for the 3rd year in a row. I'm going to make this clear right off the bat here. The Carolina Hurricanes won 37 games this season. They won 37 and they made it to the conference finals. Do not fold. We're not folding to a 37-win Carolina Hurricanes team. Okay, do not lose here. We cannot lose to the Carolina Hurricanes out of all teams. We are absolutely dominating right now. We have a 3-1 series lead. Are we going to close it out here? Yes, we are. The Stanley Cup final for the first time in this video. We have the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton's going to be a tough team. They got Connor McDavid. We already know this. But we've won 3 straight games, a 3-1 series lead. And in game 5, we're closing this one out 4-1. This team was dominant from top to bottom. Not only did we score a ton of goals, but we were playing some great defense here. This team's perfect all around, and the entire core is going to be coming back next season. Just look at this offense, absolutely flying. Cole Caulfield, 26 points. Slafkovsky, 23. Festerini, 22 points. Nick Suzuki, 21. The offense was fantastic from top to bottom, and so was this goaltending. Askarov, 16 wins, 1 shot, a 921, a 258. We already know what the goal is for next season. We're looking for the repeat. So we're at the draft here. I've tried to make 2 selections. Haven't really gone my way. So 5th, 6th rounder and a prospect over to the San Jose Sharks. And we're getting this player who has top 6 potential. Unfortunately, this package isn't going to be enough. But I know we have more prospects we can work with. I'll just send a couple over. So I'll add this prospect into the deal right here. And I think that should be enough. Unfortunately, it's not. But a 7th rounder is going to be the difference maker. I'm really not giving up anything valuable here. Top 9 potential, top 6 potential, a 7th rounder, a 6th rounder, and a 5th rounder. And we're getting a top 6 player who's like a 71 overall. This trade right here, that's pretty good for us. All right, so Sonny Milano, I actually think we're going to bring you back to the team. That wasn't really the plan, but you play some good 4th line minutes, so 3.3 for the next 2. Meanwhile, Tolvanen, we're going to be letting you walk. All right, so outside of those moves we made during the re-sign phase, it's now time to make some big ones. Tika Ginla, it's time for your 8-year deal. We're doing 3.5 for the next 8 years, and you're going to be playing some bottom 6 minutes for us. You're actually going to be our 3rd line center. I already know what your role is going to be. Ryder Ritchie, I think you could be a good 4th line guy for us, so here's 2.2 for the next 8 years. Max Domi, we're going to write out your contract for this season. Forsling, I think we're going to do the exact same thing with you. Joel Eriksson Ek, we're actually going to trade you away because you have some good trade value. Maybe Forsling might get traded away. A couple players are going to get traded away here. Joshua Waugh or Roy, I don't really know what he goes by. We're doing $3 million for the next 6 seasons. You're going to be a good bottom 6 piece for us. A lot of changes are going to happen here, but they're definitely going to be for the betterment of this team. Forsling, you've played some big minutes for us, but it's time to ship you out after we won that Stanley Cup. I'm packaging you up along with the 5th round pick, and we're going to be picking up Kemmel. He's going to be the sniper on our 3rd line. Surprisingly, this package isn't going to be enough, but we'll add a 4th rounder into it. I feel like this should be enough. If it isn't, we'll throw in a prospect, but we're actually going to get this deal done just like that. So Max Domi, you're 33 years old. You're going to start declining pretty soon. But Clark Caswell, you're 22 years old, and you're only going to keep getting better. So Max Domi for Clark Caswell. I guess we can't do 1-for-1 here, but a 7th rounder will be the difference maker. So here you go. You're getting a 2030 7th round pick, and we're getting this deal done. So through making all the moves we did, we actually have a lot of cap space here. And Siegenthaler, you have a perfect fit on our 2nd pairing, so I'm going to bring you in. We're doing 7.7 for next season. This is going to be a really good deal for us because that's going to help our defensive core a lot. So now that we've acquired some of these guys, it's time to give them extensions. Clark Caswell, we're going to do 2.4 for the next 6 years. For a 3rd line guy, that's a great deal. I guess that's actually going to be the only guy we give an extension to, but yeah, shout out to Clark Caswell. All right, so after making all the moves we did, we no longer need Joel Eriksson Ek, so we're going to ship him out here. And ironically, we're actually going to be sending him back to the Minnesota Wild, and we're going to be picking up these 2 young players for him. This is a great deal for both sides. Minnesota, they get to bring Joel Eriksson Ek back, while we get to bring in 2 great prospects. So we got to make one more move to finish off free agency here, and it's going to be 2 6th rounders sent over to the Detroit Red Wings, and we're going to be picking up Sebastian Cossa to be our backup. So we didn't make too many changes over the offseason, but the changes we did make definitely helped this team a ton. Clark Castwell, he has a great fit on the third line, and so does Kemmel. Ryder Ritchie, Joshua Roy, or Waugh, still haven't figured out which it is, and Simon Malone's going to be holding it down the fourth line. What we're going to be doing this season, though, is Nick Suzuki is going to be moving down to the second line, and the reason for that is we just get a much better fit on the second line if he's there. Although he literally has zero line fit here whatsoever, they get a +4 overall boost, so I think it makes sense. Defensively, I can't complain about the top four here. The third pairing is a bit weak, but you know what? I think we're going to be fine because we have these two goaltenders in between the pipes for us. Askarov and Kosa, an 88 overall and an 83. We're going to be a better team than last season. There's no doubt about it. But are we going to be able to repeat and win back-to-back Stanley Cups here? That's still up for debate. I sometimes really wonder about the Montreal Canadiens. Like, we go from being one of the best teams in the entire league, we're showing a ton of potential, and then things just completely fall off a cliff. We're 15th in the entire league with a 32, 23, and 7 record. I don't know what's wrong with this team. I really don't. So the scoring on this team has been very lackluster, so what we're going to be doing is Nick Suzuki return to the first line, and Festerini, I'm dropping you back to the second line. That worked for us last season, but we are going to clean some things up. Yeah, like these goaltending numbers, we're going to pretend they don't exist. Okay, so this deal should be more than enough. A first rounder and 2 prospects for Jacob Slavin and a second round pick. Jacob Slavin's going to help our defense a lot. I guess we're only getting Jacob Slavin. You're kidding me. This is really not enough. At this point, we're just absolutely getting finesse. Here's a third round pick as well. All of this for Jacob Slavin. What is going on? Why can I not make trades? I'm offering more than enough. Who else do you want? I'll throw more prospects in here if we absolutely have to. I don't really want to. Isn't this a good defenseman too? I mean, he's not too bad. He's a good young prospect. I'll give you this guy as well. He basically has no trade value whatsoever, but maybe he can make the difference. Of course he can. Jacob Slavin, welcome to the team. That's going to be the only trade we make here. Now it's time for us to turn this season around and win a Stanley Cup. Because by rights, there's no reason we should be this bad. Alright, so the moves we made were definitely for the betterment of this team. We finished 5th with a 47, 28, and 7 record. The offense was looking fantastic, 3.77 goals for. But the defense, not the greatest in the world, 3.13 allowed. But I think after we made those trades, that definitely got better. I don't know why I said trades, acting like it was more than one. It was just one singular trade. And Jacob Slavin, he helped this team a ton. Cole Caulfield, 90 points. Festerini, 73 points. Nick Suzuki, 73 as well. Well, the goaltending numbers, not that great. We're actually going to ignore these numbers, and we're going to pretend they didn't happen. We're moving on to the playoffs. We have the Philadelphia Flyers to take on. This team was looking elite after the trade deadline, and they have a repeat on the line, so you know we're going to be playing at our best. So we're absolutely smoking the Philadelphia Flyers right now, and an 8-7 victory in Game 7 is going to send us to the second round. Not gonna lie though, winning a game 8-7 is not the greatest sign about our defense. So we got past Philly pretty easily, and we moved on to the second round here. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've matched up against this team a few times, and we refused to lose to Toronto, so we're basically guaranteed the conference finals. Okay, so those first 2 games scared me, but we're bouncing back after those 2. We're looking to win 3 straight games here. Let's make that 4 straight games and move on to the conference finals. I want to match up against the Carolina Hurricanes again. I guess it's not going to be that simple though, because we have to head to Game 7. Also, I don't even know if Carolina made it to the conference finals. Okay, yes they did. They swept the Pittsburgh Penguins. So Carolina, I'm looking for a rematch against you guys. Alright, so here we go. Game 7, a chance at another conference finals. Hyman's going to be picking up the first goal. I don't know why I always call him Hyman. It's Heineman, but I always call him Hyman. I mean, it basically sounds the exact same. We're scoring 5 goals. We're off to the conference finals. But even still, Heineman and Hyman. I mean, it probably sounds the exact same. I don't know what I'm yapping about. Watch me find out that his name's not even Hyman, and I've just been saying it completely wrong. There's a very good chance of that. So we already know we're taking on the Carolina Hurricanes in the conference finals, so let's get right to that. We're going to be winning game number 1 here. Nah, this team's just dominating right now. Close it out in 5 games and move on to the Stanley Cup final. A chance at a repeat is very possible here. We're 4 wins away. So here we go, the Stanley Cup final, back-to-back years now, and we're looking to win back-to-back. We have the Colorado Avalanche this time. I'm not scared of Colorado. This team's been absolutely rolling through the postseason, and I don't see that stopping now. So here we go. We won the first 2 games and then dropped the next 2, and game 4 was not a good one. 8-1. We got to respond big time in game number 5 here. Okay, not 4 straight. We can't be going out sad like that. We got shut out. Okay, we did not play any defense in these 3 games right here. This is bad. We allowed 20 goals in 3 games. We only scored 4. That hurts. So real talk, I can't complain with what this team did here. We were pretty solid. Heineman, 14 goals in 23 games. I can't really ask too much more than that. Goaltending wise, yeah, I want better numbers than this. An 897 and a 337. We're going to rebuild the defense for next season, that's for sure. If we can build a really good defense, then we're going to win Stanley Cups every single season. That's our main weakness right now. So I decided for this draft, we're going to do strictly drafting, and the only reason for that is we basically have no draft picks. So even if I completely miss on these prospects, it's not the end of the world. But we did secure one who has low elite potential, so there is that. He was also a gem, so hopefully he does develop into an elite potential player. The odds of that happening, though, very low. You never know. Alright, Hemming, it's time for you to finally jump into the lineup here, and we're giving you a long-term deal. I'm going to be doing 8 years at $2.8 million. No matter which line you're playing on, $2.8 million is going to be a good deal for us. Caden Gooley, I think we're going to be letting you walk here. There's no real point in bringing you back, not at that price. Yeah, you're definitely not coming back to the team. Siegenthaler, I don't think I'm going to bring you back either. Maybe I will. $5.5 million, I don't think it's worth it. Jacob Slavin, though, I could potentially do a 1-year deal with you, but I don't think I am. We're going to be letting a handful of guys walk here, but you know what? I think it's for the betterment of this team. Sebastian Cossa, you're actually going to be another guy we bring back here. You're a good backup goaltender for $1 million. Alright, so of course we have to go with some extensions here after the re-sign phase. I'm going to be starting with Nick Suzuki. We're doing 10.5 for the next 8 years. For what he brings to the team, this is actually a pretty solid contract. When it comes to Evanson, we're actually going to wait here because right now he only wants a 1-year deal, and I want to do a longer term deal with him, so we're going to wait until his asking price drops a bit. Then again, 6 years at 8.7 might not be that bad. So how about we do a 6-year contract at $7.6 million? That's about $2 million more than what you're getting paid right now, but you're a top defenseman for us, so you deserve all the money. Okay, this is a contract I'm definitely worth taking a risk on. This 80 overall is going to be getting $3 million for the next 8 years. He already has X factors right now. He's only 21 years old. We're going to give him some top minutes on this team. We might even change coaches just so we can get a better coach that fits with the defense, because I think that's really what our issue is right now. We have a bunch of great players on this team. The forward core is solid, but the coach, he doesn't fit with any of our defensemen. I think that's what's been holding us back. Okay, so we've moved on to option number 18. That's Jamie Drysdale. He's an 86 overall. Maybe we can acquire Jamie Drysdale. A first round pick and a prospect's not going to be enough, but maybe 2 prospects will be. We've really moved on to like 18 other players, but Jamie Drysdale, I think we can actually get this deal done. We got another elite defenseman on this team. So you know what, after consideration, I guess we are going to bring Jacob Slavin back here. We'll do 9.1 for next season. That's a lot more than what he was originally asking for, but you know what, we need a bit more help on the left side, and that's what he's going to provide for this team. I also decided to keep the exact same coach because you know what, things are going well right now. Why screw it up? So Jamie Drysdale, if I acquired you, I'm not just keeping you for 1 season. This is going to be a long-term deal, 5 years at $7.6 million. That's a pretty solid deal for us. You're going to be one of our better players. I like this move a lot. So I don't know why I was yapping about a new coach, considering this team has made the conference finals 4 years in a row. In 2 of those years, we made it to the Stanley Cup final, and we won 1 Stanley Cup. This forward core clearly knows how to score goals. The defense, I actually think it's much better this season. We have a lot better line fits here. I mean, that's not really true because we're only getting a +2 boost on the first line. But you know what? We're in a good spot here for sure. And then to finish it off, goaltending, Ascroft, we already know this man's the guy for us. He jumped to an 86 overall though, so I'm not too sure if I should be worried. Sebastian Cossa, he's going to be backing him up at an 84. We've been seeing a lot of success the past couple of years, and I'm hoping that success continues this season. And I think there's a very good chance when you have a forward core like this. Just look at the top 6 here. There is no reason it should be this good. So the team was looking good, and there wasn't really any trades I wanted to make. But we did finish 7th here, but we have to remember we were a 50-win team. So we're a 50-win team that finished 7th overall. It's just a competitive league right now. 3.48 goals per game. The defense, incredible, 2.7. I think that's the best defense in the entire league. So we're the best defense in the entire league, and offensively, we weren't that great. But that defense, I feel like that's going to make the difference. Okay, so when it came to scoring, this was clearly the issue. None of the top players were making big-time plays. The depth scoring, on the other hand, absolutely incredible. But you're telling me not a single player on this team is over a point a game? That's just not right. Meanwhile, Ascroft, 32 wins, 4 shots, a 910 and 266. Yeah, these numbers are pretty solid. And Sebastian Cossa for an 84 overall, I'll definitely take this. An 18-5 record, you're him. So can we make it 5 straight seasons of making it to the conference finals? We got to start here, though. The Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round. So it's no surprise that Tampa is putting up a good fight against us because they are a good team. Game 5 is going to be a big one, and we're taking that one. Back-to-back wins here to close out the first round. Doesn't look like that's going to be happening. We're off to Game 7. Alright, I accidentally had my mic muted, but we won 4-1. So yeah, there is that. We won 4-1 in Game 7. We're off to the next round. Alright, so we're guaranteed the conference finals for the 5th year in a row. The Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round. We already know how this goes. No, this is actually crazy. The Toronto Maple Leafs just can't beat the Montreal Canadiens. Conference finals for the 5th year in a row. We really can't be stopped. So the conference finals against the Carolina Hurricanes, I feel like we haven't seen this team in the conference finals before. Except I'm pretty sure we've matched up against them 4 times now. We've been able to get past them a couple of times. Hopefully this is another one of those times when we make it back to the Stanley Cup final for the 3rd year in a row. Okay, so we're not going to talk about what just happened here. Something happened, the game glitched, and unfortunately we lost 4 straight games. I really don't know what to say. We're actually just going to sim right to the draft here. We really got swept. Carolina, congrats on a Stanley Cup. That should have been us. But yeah, that is a tough way to go out. This team was looking great up until that point, and then we got swept. That is tough. Okay, so I saw this guy in the draft, and the plan was to take him at the 30th overall pick, but unfortunately, I think he went 28th overall. He's a low elite potential, 76 overall. He went 2 picks before we could get him. Now I'm going to trade 2 4th rounders for him. Edmonton thinks they got a steal. They literally just drafted this man 28th overall with their 1st round pick, and they got 2 4th rounders back. I don't know why they think they got a good deal. So we're really never going to have to worry about not having any good defensive prospects, because now I'm going to acquire this great one from the Seattle Kraken, 18 years old, a 79 overall. He was drafted 9th overall. I'll give you the 30th overall pick for him. Unfortunately, we can't get this deal done. I'll just take out the 5th round pick. It's not that big of a deal. And then with the 62nd overall, you know what? I think it's about time I make a selection here. Who are we going to be going with? This guy, he's a potential gem. We'll take the risk. What's he going to turn into? I have absolutely no clue. Low top 6, but he was a gem, so you never know what's going to happen. Now, when it comes to the re-sign phase, we're going to qualify these 2 RFAs, and the rest of these guys right here, we're going to be letting all of them walk. When it comes to goaltenders, we have this fringe starter guy that we drafted a couple years ago. I'm letting him walk as well. Okay, so Kemmel and Parek, I qualify both of these guys as RFAs, but I really don't want to pay them because they're asking for quite a bit of money. Adam Fantilli, on the other hand, 87 overall, elite potential still. He's 25 years old and he's on a great contract. Hypothetically, is this package going to be enough? I'm going to send it over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm not surprised they're saying no here. We're going to find a way to get a deal done. Maybe 2 second-round picks would be the easy answer. I guess it will be. Adam Fantilli, welcome to the team. So that's really going to be the only move we make here, so let's just run it back and make our 6th conference finals appearance in a row. 5th or 6th. I actually lost track at this point. All right, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't even know what I'm doing at this point, but man, look at this forward core. Ain't nobody stopping us. We have a couple guys playing out of position. Joshua Roy, he's going to be playing on the left side instead of the right. And then Adam Fantilli, instead of being a centerman, he's going to be a right winger for us. This team looks absolutely stacked right now. The defense is pretty solid as well, as the lowest overall on our top 4 is an 83 overall. And then in between the pipes, we have an 87 overall Askarov, an 84 overall Sebastian Kosa. By rights, we should be a 60-win team, but we already know how this team performs when it matters most. We seem to fold. Well, that's actually a lie. The regular season we fold. In the playoffs, we know how to step it up. Alright, that's it. The coach is being fired. There's no reason we should be 18, 16, and 1 right now. We do know who's on this team, right? Why are we not succeeding? No, like seriously, what's wrong with us right now? Are we just not scoring goals? We're not scoring goals and we're allowing way too many. Almost 4 per game. 3.63. What happened to our team? It's time to make some changes. We're canning the coach and we're bringing in a new one. So I really don't have too much to say here. We didn't make the playoffs. The team that just made 4 straight or 5 straight conference finals appearances didn't make the playoffs. That really just happened. We know the amount of talent on this team, and somehow we're still missing the postseason. I cannot process what just happened here, but there's one thing that does need to happen. We're trading away 2/3 of our team. We are completely restarting here because there's no reason we should be missing the playoffs. That's an absolute disgrace, like honestly. Missing the playoffs, and we don't even own our 1st round pick that's went to the Philadelphia Flyers 14th overall. This team's an absolute disgrace right now. So as I said, we're going to be going through a massive turnover here. A lot of players are going to get traded. That's including Cole Caulfield. But currently, he's going to be a UFA entering next season. So I want to give him his extension now. We're basically just going to do a sign and trade with Cole Caulfield. Cole Caulfield's going to be gone. Nick Suzuki's going to be gone. There's going to be a couple other pieces that are going to be leaving the team. We're going to be doing a complete rebuild. Festorini, there's actually a very good possibility we trade you away because you don't have a good line fit on anything except the 4th line. And even the 4th line is not a good fit. We might try to bring in a new coach that has a good line fit with you and Fantilli, because I could see them being my 1-2 combo over the next couple seasons. Okay, Adam Fantilli can definitely play some top 6 minutes for us. He's going to play on the 2nd line. I don't really know what we're going to do with the other players on this team, though. Slafkovsky, I think you could still play some top 6 minutes. You have a decent enough line fit there. Tiga Ginla, where do you fit? You can still be our 3rd line man. All I know is there's going to be a lot of changes happening. So right after our terrible season, we've just been completely missing in the draft here, so requiring a future 3rd round pick. Like when I say we're missing, I mean like bottom 6 players are the best thing we're getting. I don't know why we're missing so much in this rebuild, but for some reason we are. All right, so we got to start changing things up here, and we need to bring in a new playmaker. Logan Cooley, you're going to be the guy for us. You only have 1 year left on your deal, but you know what? I'm going to give you an extension. We'll bring you back for next season. It's going to be Festrani and a second-round pick. I'm sending that over. Unfortunately, they're going to be saying no. I'll throw a couple third-round picks in the deal. Hopefully, 1 third-rounder is enough. Unfortunately, it's not going to be, so we're going to have to do 2 third-round picks here. So Festrani, a second, and 2 third-round picks. All this for Logan Cooley. They're still saying no, but we just have to throw in that lucrative 7th-rounder. The lucrative 7th-rounder, always the difference maker. Just like that, we got Logan Cooley, and that's just the first of many moves. Cole Caulfield, you're on the chopping block next. Okay, so Cole Caulfield, I told you were on the chopping block, and I'm sending you over to the Dallas Stars. Logan Stankoven and 2 first-round picks for Cole Caulfield. Not surprised this deal didn't get done, but what if I throw a 2nd-rounder in? Actually, we don't have any 2nd-rounders. What about a 3rd-rounder? Is it possible for us to get those 2 first-rounders? It looks like it will be. So here we go, this package right here, Cole Caulfield at a 3rd and a 7th over to the Dallas Stars, Stankoven and 2 first-round picks. That's going to be big for us. Now we just have to hope that Dallas completely falls apart. So the trades aren't done there because Nick Suzuki, you're on the chopping block next. You've done great things for this franchise, helped us win a Stanley Cup, but now I'm going to trade you to the New York Rangers for Lafreniere and 2 2nd-rounders. We're not getting the 2 2nd-rounders. Hopefully we can get 1 here. All right, we've done a lot of changes to this team, but I think we're in a better spot strictly because the line fits. So we do need to sign a backup goaltender, and Joel Holfer, here's 1.8 for the next 2 years. You're the guy we need. You're the savior of this team. And after we acquired Logan Cooley, of course, we got to be locking him down long term here. We're doing 9.8 for the next 8. And that's not going to be the only extension we give out because Asplund, I'm giving you 6.6 for the next 8 as well. Those are going to be the only 2 re-signings we're doing here. Let's get ready for next season and let's bounce back. There's no way we're missing the playoffs 2 years in a row. All right, so it's time for the big bounce back season. There's no reason that we should have missed the playoffs last season, but now it's our revenge tour. Logan Cooley, Hyndman, Quinn, Lafreniere, Fantilli, Stankoven. The bottom 6, absolutely incredible here. And you know what else is incredible? Our defense. Look at the line chemistry. We have great fits all around here. That's what we've been missing the past couple seasons. The only thing I'm concerned about is the fact that Askarov's dropped to an 85 overall at 29 years old. I have no clue why you're declining. You have a ton of X factors still. We have a better defense in front of you. I'm expecting about 55 wins from this team. First in the entire league, there's no reason we should struggle. Okay, so something needs to change here. You might not know, but we're about 20 games into the season. You see this right here, head coach preferred lines. This is what we're rocking with. I don't care that Fantilli is now on the 3rd line when it makes a lot more sense for him to play on the 2nd, considering he has a perfect line fit on the 2nd. You know what? This is what the coach wants. The coach wants to rock lines like this. We're going to allow him to rock lines like this. Let's just say things aren't good. We're 7-14-2. We're 2-7-1 in our last 10. Something's got to change. No, like seriously, let's look at the talent on this team. How are we losing? Like that legitimately makes no sense. We're simming right to the end of the season. We're not stopping at the trade deadline. The head coach preferred lines are going to turn it around. If not, I really hope we own our 1st-round pick. So considering we started this season 7-14-2, I will take 12th overall as a success, 43-34-5. We just need this team to show up in the postseason. We actually are looking like a good team though, because if we started 7-14-2, we've been really good since then. Lafreniere is leading the way, 80 points here. We have a lot of depth scoring. Look at all these guys with over 60 points. This team certainly knows how to score. The one thing we can't do though, keep the puck out of our net. A 337 and an 892. This is not it right here. Askarov, you have not been playing like our starting goaltender the past couple of years. Like, what has happened? The first couple of years with the team, you were pretty solid. Actually, that's a lie. You have never really been that good of a goaltender. I mean, yes, you have. What am I talking about? This season's not bad. This season's not bad. This is a pretty decent season. But these 3 right here, yikes. Anyways, there's no point in me complaining about how bad our numbers have been. We somehow got into the postseason, so we got to make the most of it. We have the Florida Panthers in the 1st round. Let's keep this momentum going and make it to another conference finals appearance. But this time, not get swept, because that was a tough one last time. Alright, so let's just get this over with quick. We're down 3-1 in this series, and in Game 5, we're done. We're eliminated in 5 games here. I really don't know how I feel about this team. On paper, we're an incredible team, one of the best in the entire league, but we have just not performed like it. We rebuilt our forward core during the offseason. Now it's time to rebuild the defense and get a new goaltender. Because Askarov, you have not been that guy. Also, all I know is Dallas made the playoffs, so that pick's not going to be really valuable. So we're not too worried about that. Our pick's not going to have a ton of value because we made the postseason as well. but we might make a couple trades here, try to move up in the draft, or get the guy who gets selected 4th overall for a 3rd round pick, because that happens from time to time. Alright, so let's start with the trades right now. The Dallas Stars pick, which is the 31st overall, is being sent over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're picking up Shaw. He was just drafted, and he's already an 80 overall with X factors, so we got to bring him onto this team. The 31st overall is not going to be enough, unfortunately, so I'll have to throw a 7th rounder in this deal, but I don't think we actually have a 7th rounder, so it's going to be a 6th rounder instead. This is still a really good deal for us, though. An 80 overall, I'll take it. The next trade we're going to be doing is picking up 2 young prospects from the Washington Capitals. The first is going to be this guy right here. He was just drafted, 75 overall grinder, 10th overall, but you know what? He's a 75 overall, so we'll take him. We're also going to take this other young guy, 19 years old. He's a 71 overall. I don't think the 21st overall is going to be enough. I'm still going to offer it. Yeah, we got to throw something else in this deal, probably a 3rd round pick or something. Actually, I don't think it's going to take a 3rd round pick, maybe a 4th rounder, so I'll offer that over to Washington. They're accepting it. We have a couple more draft picks to work with, and I think I actually might use those to draft. Okay, it's almost been a full 10 years of this rebuild, and I know for a fact I've traded a lot of draft picks away, but you're telling me it took this long for us to get a medium elite potential goaltender. We know how I am when it comes to drafting medium elite potential goaltenders, normally about 5 every single year, but we finally just got our first. So yeah, drafting has definitely not gone my way. Then again, I've traded about 90% of our picks, so it doesn't really matter. Asplund, you're one of our best defensemen right now, so I want to make sure I keep you on this team. We're doing 6.9 for the next 8 years. Everyone else we're going to be letting walk unless I can qualify you as an RFA. So basically everyone except for this guy right here. Okay, Asplund's actually going to be rejecting our offer because he's an L-Mans like that. I still want to do an 8-year deal with him. I guess we're going to have to do a bit more. Maybe 7.3 is going to be enough. 7.3 should be enough. It's only 400K less than what he's asking for. So I'm going to offer that over to him. What's he going to be saying? He's saying no. All right, we're only going to do a 5-year deal with him. We're doing 5 years at 6.4 million. That's a fair deal for him. A lot less money. But you know what? He's the one fumbling the bag here. Okay, I'm just going to give you exactly what you want since you're being the L-Mans here. You know what? I'm actually going to be petty. I'm taking 50K off. Alright, so I guess we're going to have to make a handful of big moves this season as well. Lafreniere, I do want to bring you back to this team. I think you can be a great player for us. You led the team in points. But at this price tag, I'm not too sure. Almost $13 million. Respectfully, that's not it. Jack Quinn, where are you looking for? $10 million? That's not going to happen, but we're actually going to ride that contract out. Hyman, I know for a fact that we're not bringing you. Never mind, we are bringing you back. 5.5 is very good for you. Okay, you will return to this team. Slafkovsky, what are you going to be looking for? 7.25. We can probably bring you back as well. Boquist, I already know I'm trading you away. And then this guy right here, maybe we bring you back. I don't really know where you play on this team, but if we can do a 4-year deal with something cheap, never mind, we'll just do a 2-year deal. We'll keep you around as well. So there's going to be a handful of these guys coming back. We're going to make some other moves here. This team will be competing once again. I mean, by rights, we should be competing every single season, but we saw what happened in the first 20 games last season. That was tough. That was real tough. So with the offseason moves begin, we're starting with Heinen, and we're going to do 4.9 for the next 3 years. I feel like that's a really good deal. Actually, make that 4.8 million. 4.8 million for an 87 overall. That's an absolutely fantastic deal. Slafkovsky, you're going to be another guy we're bringing back here because you're actually being pretty reasonable with your money as well. So how does 6.5 for the next 5 years sound? That's going to keep you around for the rest of your prime. Jack Quinn, I'm probably going to let you walk here. And Lafreniere, you're probably going to be walking as well. I mean, if we can sign you to a reasonable deal, then I will keep you around. But this right here, that's just not happening. So this trade right here is going to be 1-for-1. It's going to be Lafreniere for Porter Martone. Porter Martone's got high elite potential. We're going to be able to keep him around long term. And he's going to be wanting less money than Lafreniere. So this is an easy deal for us to get done. And when it comes to the Porter Martone deal, this is going to be a lot better than what Lafreniere was asking for. We're doing 8.5 for the next 5 years. An absolutely spectacular deal. All right, so I think I'm actually really cooking here. Niels Lundqvist at 50% retained for Boquist. Boquist has a lot more value, but if we can get him at 3.4 million, then this trade makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, they're going to be saying no here, but we're going to throw some picks or prospects in the deal. We're going to make this happen. I feel like it's not going to take that many picks, so maybe a 3rd rounder would be enough to be the difference maker. I'm going to send that over. They're still saying no. I'm willing to throw a 2nd rounder in this deal just for them to accept it. So here you go, a 2nd rounder. Is this going to be enough? They're still saying no. I'll throw in a prospect. So here's a prospect we're not going to be bringing back to the team. All of this sent over to the Winnipeg Jets. They really don't want to retain any money, huh? Maybe just not $3 million. What if you retain $2 million? So how about this? You retain $2 million and we get this deal done. There we go. We gave up quite a bit there, but we also brought in an 84 overall at $4 million. So that's a good deal for us. All right, so we're not talking about what happened last season. We're not talking about what happened the year before. This is the team we're running with. And you know what? We're doing head coach preferred lines because it worked last season. I don't even know what we're doing anymore. Does it make sense to have 2 playmakers on this first line? Absolutely not. But for some reason, that's what the coach wants. You know what? I'm ignoring the coach. We're doing something like this. He's going here. He's going down here. I don't care what the coach wants. This just makes way more sense for us. I mean, this doesn't make sense. Hold on. I want to do this instead. This right here, what I'm cooking up, this makes way more sense for our team. We get better line fits. You have the right players playing with the right guys. I don't care if we suck this season, this makes way more sense. I want a playmaker in Logan Cooley playing alongside a guy like Jack Quinn, who's a sniper, not playing alongside Porter Martone, who is also another playmaker. That literally just makes zero sense. Defensively, this is what we're rocking with here. We still got a lot of great guys here. And the goaltending, we already know that's looking like Askarov. Stop sucking. I'm believing in you for one more season. I think you're going to bounce back big time here. And you know what? We're living on the edge. We're simming right to the end of the season. We're risking it big time here. There's no reason that we should be a bad team. We should be one of the top in the entire league. We're just hoping for the best here. If this team completely folds, then I don't know what I'm going to do next season. All right, so Montreal, you're actually looking really good this season. I never would have expected that. A 47, 25, and 10 record is going to have us third in the entire league. But let's face facts here. This is not a good record. 47, 25, and 10 definitely could be worse, but it definitely could be a lot better. Look at the New Jersey Devils, a 56-win team. That's what we're striving for right here. I can't really complain with the production of this team. Jack Quinn, 85 points. Porter Martone, his first season with the team, he's picking up 80. That's a great season from him. The rest of the team, though, I don't really know how I feel about us. We have some great depth scoring and all. The actual superstar players on this team, I'm expecting a bit more out of you guys. Now, the goaltending numbers, Askarov, 34 wins, 5 shots, a 903 and a 304. Yeah, these aren't it. Plain and simple, these are not good numbers. But you know what? We were third in the entire league, so we got to be good at something, I guess. Now it's time for this team to lock in. We have the Washington Capitals in the first round. We haven't been performing the best these past couple seasons. However, things are about to turn around right now. We're going to get back to our former greatness, and we're going to go on another deep run. Alright, so we were third in the entire league, and we're about to get smoked by the Washington Capitals here in the first round. Unless we make some crazy comeback, because we did win in Game 5, but unfortunately we're falling in Game 6. So we clearly have to make some small changes to this team. I don't know where those changes are going to be coming, but we got to be better than this. I don't really want to make a ton of stupid moves because I do believe we are a good team, but we just don't perform like it anymore. Alright, so Washington somehow made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. We have to keep in mind they were a wild card team. Like, they were the second wild card team in our conference, but they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. So at least we didn't lose to some terrible team. Washington was actually legit. Now, when it comes to our team, the scoring here, clearly pretty good. The goaltending, clearly not. I don't know if we need a new goaltender. I don't know if we need to fix the defense. I don't really know what we have to do here, but an 882 and a 387, that's unacceptable. Alright, so I'm cooking up a deal with the Minnesota Wild, and I actually think we might be able to get something like this done. Our 2 first-round picks and a prospect over to the Wild. We would get Lockhart. He was a centerman that was just drafted as 77 overall power forward. We would also get Scrivens here. He's a 76 overall who has medium league potential. He could be jumping into the lineup in a couple years. That power forward could also be in the lineup in a couple years. We're going to try to get a trade like this done. But the San Jose Sharks, did you really have to make a selection there? You could have just waited a couple minutes. So I think that's going to be the package right here. Our 2 first-round picks and 2 prospects sent over to the Minnesota Wild. I am so surprised this deal just got accepted. I really did not think that would be enough. Okay, we got a good young prospect. I mean, 2 really good young prospects. We're cooking for the future. So I took a look at the draft, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any good prospects left here. So a 4th rounder, 5th rounder, 6th rounder is going to be sent over to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and we're getting a 3rd and 4th rounder. How this trade makes any sense, I have no clue, but you know what? We're going to take it. So we're not making any moves here. We're going to be qualifying 1 RFA. I did sign 2 players, but they were just to 1-year deals. Actually, 2-year deals at $1 million. That's neither here nor there. Joel Holford, you're going to be leaving the team because for some reason you want $5 million to be our backup. That's just not happening. So of course we got to bring back Fantilli. He's one of the best players on our team. We're going to do 9.6 for the next 5 years. That's going to keep him around until he's 32 years old. And then from there, we'll probably trade him away. Because I'm assuming once he hits 32, he's going to start declining. Lundqvist, on the other hand, we're going to keep you for this season. And then we're going to let you walk. All right, we just need a backup. I have no clue who this guy is, but he's 30 years old. Here's 1.75 million. Shout out to you. You're a 82 overall. I've never heard of you before, but you know what? You're going to be playing on our team. Shout out to Quap. Definitely disrespected his name, but you know what? I didn't mean to. Nikita Quap. He's our guy. All right, so I'm bringing in Tolvanen on a 1-year contract. We just need a sniper for the top 6. Here's 3.7 million. I would bring back Jack Quinn, but bro wanted $12 million. That's just not happening. Well, that is disappointing. All right, Adam Fantilli, you might not be coming back to the team. He declined our offer, and now he no longer wants an extension. What is he looking for now? This might be tough. It says he still wants an extension, though. We can make this work still. I don't know what he's talking about. Here's 9.5 for the next 6 seasons, and I can guarantee you're coming back to the team. Bro's tripping. I don't know what he's on. And just like that, he's coming back to the team for the next 6 years. I don't know what the point in declining our last offer was, but he did. So I think the real issue with our team right here is looking at it, we have no superstar that can lead the way. We have a ton of 80 overalls. Like, the entire team here is 80 overalls. We have an 84 overall, an 86 overall, and an 83 overall on the 3rd line. The depth scoring on this team is absolutely incredible. But who's going to score when it comes down to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final? I don't think any of these guys can really step up here. We're going to win a bunch of games. We're definitely going to make the playoffs. But are we really going to be competing with the best in the league? We have a fantastic defense here. The goaltending, it's a bit questionable. But Ashcroft, I know you can beat the guy at an 86 overall. You've done it before. I don't know why. I just don't really believe in this team. On paper, yes, we're the best team in the entire league. No question about it. But when it comes to competing with the best of the best in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I'm not too sure. Like hypothetically, let's just look at the Dallas Stars. This is a team that just won the Stanley Cup. Their top players, absolutely incredible. Of course, Cole Caulfield's here because I traded him here. Henberg, Jason Robertson. The rest of the forward core, though, we are certainly better than. This fourth line, this third line, like, yeah, we have a better third and fourth line than that. Our third line's actually better than their second line. When it comes to the defense, let's see what we're looking at here. Our defense is miles ahead of the Dallas Stars. There's no doubt about it. And the goaltending, they have Jake Ottinger and Andre Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky's 39 at this point. Jake Ottinger is 34. He's declining. But you're telling me this team just won a Stanley Cup and we can't get out of the first round? Really makes you think. All right, so things are looking pretty solid for the Montreal Canadiens. We're 6th in the entire league here with a 36-20-7 record. The offense is absolutely flying, but we could clean up the defense a little bit. And I'm happy to say the offense is finally scoring goals here. Logan Cooley's got 74 points. Stankoven's got 72. Slafkovsky 62. Are we actually having some big time players show up when it matters most? You love to see it, you really do. And the goaltending, I'm not going to talk about this. Like Ashcroft, if you win, you win. I'm just going to take it. I'm not too worried about those other numbers. Now, what we should really do here is bring in an elite defenseman. Are we going to be doing that? Probably not. Kyle Connor, we might bring you to the team because you can score goals. Him or Seshnikov, I'm not too sure. Probably Kyle Connor. 1 year left on your contract. Let's try to get a deal done. So this is going to be the lone move we make here. It's going to be Tolvanen and a first round pick sent over to the Nashville Predators. We're bringing in Kyle Connor for this season. He's going to be a massive upgrade to the team, and I think he's going to be the missing piece for us. We're going to be scoring a ton of goals now. It's time for us to win another Stanley Cup. It's been far too long. With the moves we made, this is what we're rocking with. It's going to be Kyle Connor, Logan Cooley, Slafkovsky on the first line, then Porter Martone, Fantilli, and Stankoven on the second. The bottom six is getting a good upgrade here. You know what? This entire team got an upgrade just from that one move, because we get to move Kyle Connor up to the first line. Stankoven drops down to the second, where it's a pretty good line fit here. Now this team right here, top 3 in the entire league. That's what we should be. Are we going to perform to those expectations? I can almost guarantee we don't. So Montreal continues to be one of the top teams in the entire league here. 49, 25, and 8. Our offense was absolutely flying. Well, I think we had one of the best defenses in the entire league. It wasn't the best, but third best in the entire league. And I think we had the best offense. Okay, it wasn't the best offense. I know for a fact it wasn't because I saw Toronto's, but 4th in the entire league. So we're really good at offense and we're really good at defense. That's actually a good sign. Maybe Ashcroft's numbers aren't that bad then. I mean, on paper, they don't look good in the slightest, but I mean, if we have the 3rd best defense or whatever it was, yeah, we gotta be right up there. Stankoven, 91 points here. Lone Cooley, 89. Kyle Connor, what'd you do since joining the team? I'm expecting big things from you. 19 points in 19 games, but you had 14 goals. Yeah, we're definitely winning a Stanley Cup this season. We've solved all of the problems that this team's had. And the goaltending numbers, you know what? I'm not too worried. Ashcroft, 41 wins, 3 shutouts. We already know how this team compares to the rest of the league, so these numbers are actually good. But as we know, the regular season just doesn't mean too much as we saw last season. We got the Florida Panthers in the first round. Florida's always going to be a tough matchup no matter what year it is. I mean, that's a lie because, I mean, like 10 years ago, the Florida Panthers sucked. Like, they sucked. Like, they were bad. But who cares what they were 10 years ago? We're in the year 2034 now. A lot has changed. Except for the Arizona Coyotes being a poverty franchise and still not making the playoffs. That stays the same. Okay, so what I'm concerned about is the fact that we've gone 2 games straight without scoring a single goal. We got to show up here in game number 5. Okay, we're scoring a lot there, but we're also allowing quite a few. Game 6, can we close this one out? Okay, the 3 games we've lost, we haven't scored a single goal. That's very concerning heading into game 7. So it's game 7. We got to show up or shut up here. As long as we score a goal, we should win. Never mind, we're getting outscored here. Hold on, the team's making a comeback. Here we go, 3rd period. Whoever scores the most goals here is going to win this game. Okay, no one scored. That is a shame. We're out in the first round once again. Okay, so normally I would make a stick on the ice statement here about this team completely turning it around. We're going to be competing for Stanley Cups and we're going to win 3 over the next 5 years. But I have lost so much faith in this team that I don't even want to make a statement like that. But we have been a top team in the NHL these past 2 years now, but when the playoffs come around, we just completely fold. It doesn't really matter. We lost 3 games in this postseason run where we were shut out. That's wild. The fact that we went 3 games out of a 7-game series and didn't score goals, that legit makes no sense. Alright, so we have a couple 3rd and 4th round picks we can work with here. So I'm going to send a 3rd and 4th over to the Philadelphia Flyers, and we're going to get a young prospect here. He's a sniper. He's like a 74 overall. He's going to be pretty good for the team. We'll throw a 6th rounder in this deal as well, and then we'll be able to get it done. And then with the rest of the draft picks we have here, I'm sending all of them over to the Buffalo Sabres, and we're going to be getting another top 6 prospect. They're actually saying no to this deal, so we'll just have to throw something else in. I'll give you another 7th rounder as well, because this 7th rounder, that's the difference maker. We already knew that. So nothing's happening here during the re-sign phase. Kyle Connor's walking, and Lundqvist is also going to be walking. Alright, so after making no moves during the re-sign phase, we do have to give some extensions, and we're starting with Jamie Drysdale. We're doing 8.5 for the next 3 years. After that contract runs out, we're going to be letting him walk. Clark Caswell, you've been great for the bottom 6 here. I would like to keep you around, but not at this price. We're probably going to trade you away. We do have this young guy who has a low elite potential, and I wouldn't mind locking him down long term. So we're going to do 2.5 for the next 8 years. Josh Waugh or Josh Roy, still haven't figured out which it is. We're probably just going to ride out your contract here. This young player, I think we'll try to sign him to an extension. Reinbacher, we're probably going to let you walk as well. You didn't really develop for us unless you want to sign a reasonable deal. That's not happening. Jalmerson, we could try to lock you down long term here, but I think we're only going to be doing a 2-year deal with you. 1.35, that's not too bad. Ashcroft's also going to be needing a new deal here, but you know what? We're just riding out his contract. This guy is yet to prove that he can bounce back and be an elite goaltender for us, so we're giving him this 1 season, and if he can't bounce back, then we're just going to be walking away from him. Even if he does bounce back, we're just walking away from him. He's not that guy anymore. Okay, so I have a very good plan here, and it actually makes a lot of sense in my head. Hopefully it pans out. These 2 guys are out to the Colorado Avalanche. We're getting this low elite potential defenseman. He's like a 75 overall. He's going to develop into something special for us, and we're going to keep him on this team long term. The other reason we're making that deal right there is we have to clear up cap space. And the reason we are clearing up that cap space is Sam Dickinson is going to be joining the team for this 1 season here. We're going to give him as much money as possible. We're giving him $8.1 million for 1 year. He's going to join this team. We're going to go on a Stanley Cup run, and we're actually going to perform when it matters most. This team is done folding. It's time for us to be one of the best in the entire league. Okay, so I was just looking here at what goaltenders were available, and Ashcroft is actually one of the best goaltenders in the game. However, there is this guy right here. He has less trade value than Ashcroft. We're going to pick him up. He's an 84 overall, 24 years old. He's going to develop into our goaltender for the future. We're probably going to be able to get some assets alongside him. Let's make this trade right here. We're dropping 1 overall. He doesn't have any X factors, but I believe in him. We're going to be giving him a great opportunity here. He's the man for us. Okay, on top of getting this goaltender for the Boston Bruins, I wouldn't mind getting this young prospect as well. He has top 6 potential. He's 21 years old. You never know what he could develop into. We'll send him down to the AHL. He'll play some top minutes for us. This package right here is being sent over. I'm really surprised 2 4th rounders along with Ashcroft isn't enough. So here's 2 4th rounders and a 6th rounder. This should be more than enough right here. So we're getting this deal done. Now we should probably give that guy an extension. Okay, yeah, so we're not doing 8 years at $16 million. Bro wants a 1-year deal at $8 million. Now I kind of understand why he wasn't given an extension already. We're not going to give him an extension here, but at the end of the season we will. We're going to find a way to keep him on our team. Alright, so we went through a handful of changes during the offseason. This team's not as good as it used to be, but you know what? Logan Cooley, he's got a superstar X factor. He might be ready to take over for this team. The defense is still looking absolutely fantastic here, and the goaltending, we're going to see what happens. We have an 84 overall in between the pipes. He has medium elite potential. Maybe he's going to be the future face of our team. Maybe he's not. It's going to be a big risk here. I feel like we're either going to be a top 5 team this season or a bottom 5 team and no in between. This team has been so confusing so far in the rebuild, but I feel like things might change now. We have a different goaltender. I feel like this guy's an upgrade from Ashcroft, even though he's a lower overall. Ashcroft just didn't perform for us when it mattered most. This guy will, though. Okay, there is one incredibly impressive thing about this season. We're 37, 18, and 5 at the trade deadline. I don't care how many goals we're scoring. Defensively, we're the best team in the entire league, 2.8 goals against. Our goaltender's making the difference. We're giving that man $15 million per year. That's literally the only difference between this season and last season. I mean, we also brought in Sam Dickinson. That helps a lot. But this goaltender for us, he's been locked in. The scoring on this team, yeah, it's great and all. Porter Martone, thanks for leading the way. But our goaltender, a 906 and a 278. I haven't seen numbers that look this good in years. He's been the missing piece for our team. We're just going to rock with the team we have right now. Everyone's playing at their best. No point screwing anything up here. I mean, unless we can find somebody here at a reasonable price, but I highly doubt that's going to be happening. I mean, hold on now. Tage Thompson for one season, we could bring you in here. I don't know where you would play in the lineup, but you would definitely help our team. We're trading for Tage Thompson now. I didn't think we would be, but I guess we are. 2 second rounders, I don't think that'll be enough, but it might be at 50% retained too. Actually, we don't even have to do 50% retained. We can just bring you on the team for 2 second rounders. So I'm saying that over to Buffalo. They got an absolute steal here. We got Tage Thompson. We'll be alright. So this is how the forward core is going to be looking right now, with Tage Thompson playing on the first line getting a +5 boost. The second and third lines, they're going to be getting a +2 boost, while the fourth line's getting a +1. I think Tage Thompson might be the missing piece for us, but I said that about Kyle Connor last season. We already know how that went. So I'm not going to spend too much time going over the standings and the stats of this team, because we know we're a great team. First in the entire league, it's been a minute. 51 wins, 24 losses, 7 OT losses, a great offense, a fantastic defense. We already know what the scoring is going to be looking like on this team. Absolutely fantastic. Port Martone's leading the way, 95 points. Tage Thompson, what'd you do since joined this team? 24 points in 22 games. I'm expecting big time plays from you in the postseason. The goaltending, absolutely fantastic here. Albert's leading the way. He's our guy. Now this is where it matters most. Everything that just happened in the past 82 games doesn't matter right now. We're in the playoffs. No more first round exits. It's been back-to-back years we've lost in the first round. It might be 3 years in a row now. I don't even know. I've lost track. All I know is this team has been performing. That all changes now. Alright, it's happening again. We got shut out in game number 4. The collapse has begun. We can't be losing. This isn't happening. This really isn't happening. We can't lose in the first round once again. We're off to game 7. If we get shut out in game 7, something's getting broken. This controller I have right here, it's getting broken. No, but real talk, I'm not breaking this controller. This thing costs like 70 bucks. It's actually stupid how much controllers cost. So here we go, game 7, where it matters most. Okay, we've got this game all wrapped up. We scored 4 goals in the first period. No way we're blowing this one. We almost did though. We actually almost did blow this lead, but we're off to the second round, a 6-4 victory. Okay, this feels like deja vu. The Montreal Canadiens taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then the upper half of the bracket, the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New Jersey Devils. I know for a fact our matchup has happened before, and I know for a fact that the Carolina matchup has happened before. Why do I think these two matchups have happened at the same time? There's a chance we played Carolina in the conference finals. I know for a fact that we've played Carolina in the conference finals. I've seen this entire playoff bracket before. Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't know what happened. Like, something happened to the recording, and I can't show you what happened in that Toronto Maple Leafs series. We put up a hard-fought fight against the Toronto Maple Leafs, but somehow they were able to get past us. You know, it was a 7-game series. We competed hard with them, but they were just able to come out on top. Yep, that's exactly what happened, and we definitely didn't get swept to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nope, we put up a hard fight against them. Logan Cooley, 11 points in 11 games. Kind of weird how you only played 11 games, considering we went to game 7 against the Toronto Maple Leafs and game 7 against the Islanders. But you know what? Must be glitching again. You know, we have these glitches from time to time. Okay, Albert, you sucked in the postseason. Yeah, this team just folded. Plain and simple. We should have won a Stanley Cup here, but players didn't show up. Now, Albert, it's time to give you an extension. What are you going to be looking for? Sam Dickinson, I can tell you right now, you're not coming back to the team. We have $5K in cap space. So yeah, plain and simple, that's not happening. Albert dropped in overall. He dropped to an 83. He just had that incredible season and dropped to an 83 overall, and he wants $10 million. I give up. I really give up with trying to make logical moves because nothing logical has happened so far. So you already know what we do at the trade deadline. We trade picks away. Damp House, you got medium top 6 potential. You're a 70 overall at 17 years old. You have tons of time to develop. So we're going to be acquiring you as well as a 4th round pick. And then we have 2 other picks in the draft here. Let's bring in some superstar players. That's not going to happen, but I mean, let's waste some draft picks. Okay, so I changed my mind. We're not wasting draft picks. This guy's 18 years old and he's a 77 overall. I don't know what we're going to give up here. Obviously, these 2 picks right here, but we'll probably have to give up something else. Yeah, we definitely have to trade something else as well. Maybe that 4th round pick we got from the New York Rangers. These 3 draft picks for that guy, they're going to be saying no here, but a 7th rounder would be the difference maker. We already know that. So here's a 2036 7th round pick, and we just got this young defenseman. Okay, so I'm going to be real. Albert, I'm not convinced with you now. You're 25 years old and you actually dropped to an 83 overall. So I don't even know if you're actually going to be able to be that guy for us. I was thinking that after the season you just played with us, you'd be up to an 86 overall, but you actually declined. Our backup is almost a higher overall than you. So I'm qualifying you as an RFA, and more than likely we're going to be shipping you out somewhere. Dickinson's not coming back. Tage Thompson's not coming back. Clark Caswell, I would like to bring you back. What are you looking for though? It's not happening. You're going to be walking here. Wad's going to be walking, and then we'll re-sign this RFA. I mean, ideally, we can re-sign him to a 2-way deal. Even if we can't do 2 ways, honestly, this isn't a bad contract right here. We can do 8 years with you. So how about we do 8 years at 1.9 million? Even if we have to put you in the AHL, this contract right here might be worth it. You still got a ton of time to develop. I like this contract right here, as long as you accept it. There we go. That's the loan move we're making during the re-sign phase. We got $15 million to work with. It's time for us to cook. All right, so I was talking about us making a ton of moves, but there's one thing we do have to remember. We were a top team in the NHL last season. We were actually first to be exact. So Stankoven, I'm keeping you around here. We're doing 6.4 for the next 3 years. Heineman, we're probably going to let you walk here, an 82 overall, and you're still wanting quite a bit of money here. 4.1 million, that's just not worth it for an 82. Now, a deal like this might not make too much sense. options here. We're doing 8 years at $2.7 million for a 78 overall. We have to realize that in about 5 years, all the defensemen are going to be wanting about $8 million. So a contract like this, even if he only turns into a 79 overall, that's going to age well for us. Edvinsson, I'm really contemplating doing a contract extension with you, but 9.1 million, that just seems like a bit too much for a 32 overall. So I think we actually might walk away from you, or we're going to trade you away. I haven't really decided yet. All right, so I have a plan here. We're going to sign this 87 overall. We're going to give him $13 million for this season. I am banking that he's going to want us to re-sign him at the end of next season, and then we're going to be able to re-sign him for a lot cheaper than $13 million. We're actually going to do 13.4 million just because I want to make sure he comes to this team. So 13.4 million for 1 year. After this season, I'm hoping I can re-sign him for around 10. This is a very high risk, high reward move, but if it works out for us, that's going to be massive. All right, so we're looking at picking up Mathot from the Chicago Blackhawks here. He's one of the best goaltenders in the league, 87 overall at 23 years old. He can easily be the guy for the future for us. I also want to pick up Gustafsson though, medium elite potential. He plays on the right side, and our right side's definitely where we're lacking. He's only a 70 overall, but he could develop into something. So Evanson, our medium elite potential goaltender, and Albert, a first and second rounders, being sent over to the Chicago Blackhawks. Not surprised they're saying no here. I'm not really too sure what else we can throw in this deal. Maybe a third round pick, but that's not going to be enough. Okay, this is way closer than I was expecting. We just got to throw something else in the deal that has value. And I know for a fact we've been drafting a lot of prospects that have value here. So which one of them are we going to be trading away? I kind of want to hold on to Niedermeyer. Lockhart, though, we might trade away. There's a lot of good players on this team that we could potentially use in a trade here. I'm not really too sure which one we're going to be using. Maybe this guy right here. We did just give him an extension, though. I feel like he could be a valuable piece to the team, so I don't know if I want to trade him away. We're going to get rid of Owens. I think Owens is going to be the guy we ship out here, and we're bringing in Mathot and Gustafsson. That's a big deal for us. We have our goaltender for the future. We just have to give him a bag. Okay, the deal we're getting done with Mathot here is actually a lot better than I was expecting. I was thinking he was going to want $11 million per year, but we're going to be locking him down to $9 million for the next 8 seasons. But considering he's an 87 overall at 23 years old, he can definitely be our goaltender. All right, so this is the roster we're rocking with here. The top 6 is going to be staying the exact same here. The bottom 6, though, is definitely seeing a change here. We brought some more young guys into the lineup. I think we're going to do perfectly fine, though. An 84 overall, an 85 overall, and an 80 overall on our 4th line. That's definitely not something I can complain about. The defense is looking pretty strong here. As I just said, we have some left defensemen playing on the right side. It's really not going to shake too much up, though. We're going to be looking like a fantastic team. And now we have our goaltender for the future, Mathot. We don't really have a backup, so we're going to be rocking the 76 overall. 89 Mathot's going to be getting 90% of the starts, so we're going to be fine. Okay, so I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's about time we embrace the fact that we just have to do a complete overhaul of this team. We're not the team we used to be, and we continue to try to retool here. Retooling is not going to work. We just have to full-blown tank for like 3 seasons and rebuild this team up. We're 11th overall in the entire league with a 44, 28, and 10 record. The offense wasn't too bad, and the defense, I mean, that was pretty solid as well. Where was our defense actually in the entire league, though? I think we were one of the best. Okay, we were the 2nd best defensively, and offensively, what were we? We were a top 10 team. Okay, so this team just didn't win games. When you're a top defensive team and one of the best offensive, we should be better than 11th overall in the entire league. So you know what? I take back what I said. We're just going to keep on retooling. But this right here is an absolute disgrace. The fact that nobody finished above a point a game. Back in the good old days, we would have like 8 guys here averaging 60 points. Now we have Jamie Drysdale picking up 49. We're not the team we used to be, plain and simple. Mathot, 39 wins, 7 shouts, a 913 and 266. Okay, you're him. You're the guy for us. No question about it anymore. Maybe we just need to retool the forward core. I think all we have to do actually is retool the forward core a little bit and retool the defensive core. We just have to bring in 3 superstar offensive players. 3 guys that can pick up 50 goals per season. If we do that, we're winning Stanley Cup after Stanley Cup. It would be absolutely ridiculous. But until then, let's not choke in the first round to the Florida Panthers. Also, I do want to mention if the right teams win, we will have Montreal versus Toronto and then Carolina versus New Jersey. So that is a possibility. Okay, I'm taking back absolutely everything I've said about the Montreal Canadiens. We just swept the Florida Panthers and we're off to the 2nd round. And I do want to mention, we're on pace to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Carolina Hurricanes are going to take on the New Jersey Devils. It's happening again. Okay, this is beyond ridiculous. Toronto versus Montreal, Carolina versus New Jersey. It's happening again. The 2nd year in a row. This is probably the 3rd time in this video where this 2nd round matchup has happened. I don't know how these teams keep matching up against each other, but they do. Anyways, let's not lose to Toronto like we did last season. Okay, we're 8-0 and we're off to the conference finals. We're yet to lose a game, and we picked up 7 goals in 3 of our 4 games in this series. I don't know what to say. Montreal's here. Now, I know that 16-0 isn't going to happen in the postseason, but can it happen? I mean, we got to win 8 more games in a row here. We've already won 8 in a row. So what is another 8? It shouldn't really be too much to ask. Okay, this actually might happen. We're 12-0, 3 straight sweeps in the postseason. We could potentially go 16-0. Are we really going to do the impossible here, 16-0 in the playoffs? Potentially against the St. Louis Blues? That would be something special. Alright, so it all comes down to this. The Montreal Canadiens taking on the greatest franchise of all time in the St. Louis Blues. We're 12-0, 3 straight sweeps, could potentially make it 4 against St. Louis. I was talking about doing a retool. We're 12-0. That's not happening anymore. We're going to run it back with the exact same team next season. Doesn't matter what happens here. This entire core is coming back. So here we go. A chance for 16-0. It's going to happen. It's actually going to happen. Did we lose this game right here? Gotta move the face cam. I think we lost. Yes, we did. We've lost 2 in a row here. You know what? I'm perfectly fine with losing 2 in a row as long as we bounce back here. We're 14-2 in the postseason. This team's looking really good. Okay. We're 14-3 in the postseason. We won 14 games in a row. We're not losing 4 in a row. We're winning here and we're off to game 7. This is very concerning. For a team that won 14 games in a row to start the postseason, we can't lose in game 7 here. We're picking up the first 2 goals of the game. We're picking up a couple more here, but it's going to be a 1-goal game. Entering the 3rd period, we choked. We really lost. We lost this to the St. Louis Blues. I mean, respectfully, St. Louis, a fantastic team, but we really lost this. 14-0 to start the postseason, won 14 straight games, and then we just choked. I really don't know what to say. We lost to St. Louis, fantastic franchise, but nah, this shouldn't have happened. You don't go 14-0 to start the postseason to lose in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. I'm not happy about this in the slightest. So I got nothing to say. Nothing to say at all. 14-0 to start the postseason. Mathot, absolutely spectacular numbers. You're up to an 89 overall. That really happened. We really lost in Game 7 there after winning the first 14 games of the postseason. We're running it back with the exact same team if possible. I don't want to make any changes here. We went 14-0 to start the postseason. Why would I change anything? Also, this defenseman's being an L-Mans and doesn't want to sign an extension. Then again, I think we actually could lock him down to a long-term deal. Because hypothetically, you're 27 years old, you're going to be one of the top defensemen on this team. I think we can get you for about $13 million. So that's less than what you're getting paid right now. Even though I did pay a lot to get you last season, $13 million, screw it, we're bringing you back. You're 27 years old, you're going to keep on getting better. The rest of these guys here, we're letting them walk. I mean, these young guys will just qualify as RFAs. But these 2 guys, both of you are walking. Okay, so the one thing I like about doing trades like this is we know what we're going to be getting. We're going to be getting a medium top 4 potential player here. He's a 74 overall at 18 years old. Good chance he develops for us. We need help on the right side. That's what he's going to be providing for this team. Unfortunately, this package isn't going to be enough, but you know what will be enough? If we had a 7th rounder into the deal. So this right here is going to get us Bradford. I've really done absolutely no drafting in this video, but you know what? That's perfectly fine, because spoiler alert, if you've made it this far into the video, there's going to be a drafting only video coming up. I'm going to rebuild the team specifically through drafting. I'm going to be allowed to make certain trades in the video, like I can trade prospects for more picks, but I can't trade picks and prospects for other players. It has to be strictly drafting. And more than likely in that video, I'm going to be completely honest, Gabriel Deg is going to be our goaltender, because he's the only goaltender that I know of that we can get early in the draft that will turn into a really good player. So yeah, there's a spoiler for a video coming up. We're probably like, what, an hour and 10 minutes into the video? So if you made it this far, shout to you. So we're not doing anything during the re-sign phase. These couple guys are going to be walking here, qualified a couple RFAs, and the goaltender, he's going to be walking as well. All right, so I was talking about how last season, we're probably going to go through a massive retool, and then we won 14 straight games in the playoffs, and then I said, I take it back. We're just going to bring back the exact same guys. A lot of things have changed since then. First of all, when it comes to forwards, a lot of the guys on this team have declined. Porter Martoni's dropped to an 87. I mean, 87 is still pretty good at 29 years old. But Stankoven, at 33 years old, he's dropped to an 84. He's going to continue to get worse. You know who else is close to 33 years old? Adam Fantilli and Logan Cooley. Both of these guys are going to start declining soon. And then when we look at the defense, that's also been declining a little bit. Jamie Drysdale's dropped to an 84 overall. So there's a handful of guys on this team declining, so we got to change things up. And we're bringing in a young Markstrom. He's about an 81 overall. He's got some X factors. He's got medium elite potential. He's the future of our team. So I'm going to be trading Ryder Ritchie for him and a prospect. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get the prospect, but maybe if I throw a 3rd rounder in the deal or something. So if I give you a 4th rounder for the year 2038, is that going to be enough to get the prospect? They're going to say no, but we just have to include a 7th round pick. This is a massive trade right here, but this is the beginning of the tear down. We're not done making moves yet. So we're going to continue to tear the team down, and the next move is going to be picking up Clifford from the Calgary Flames, an 88 overall sniper. sniper at 23 years old. He's the next pickup for this team. I really thought 1-for-1 was going to be enough here, but I guess not. I'll give you a third rounder as well. That should be more than enough to get this deal done. So Clifford, welcome to the team. That's deal number 2. All right, so the next move is going to be sending Adam Fantilli back to the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's actually pretty ironic that we're doing that. We're picking up Thorne. He's got high top 6 potential. He's already an 89 overall at 25 years old. A ton of X factors. This deal is definitely the move for us. They're going to be saying no right off the bat, but you know what we have? Draft picks. So I'm going to be sending a third rounder as well, and I think that's going to be enough to get this deal done. Unfortunately not. They want something else as well, so here's a 6th round pick. Whatever we do though, we're not trading our first rounders just in case this team tanks. All right, so the teardown's going to continue. Slafkovsky's off to the Minnesota Wild. We're picking up Morrison. He has low lead potential, but he's already an 85 overall at 23 years old. He's going to be a great player. We're also going to be picking up this other young prospect. I'm saying that over. Minnesota's accepting immediately. Probably could have got some other assets there, but you know what? I'm perfectly fine with what we got. So I think this is going to be our final move before we head into next season. We're picking up wing goals from the Minnesota Wild. This is really not enough. Like, I mean, I have to throw a 7th rounder in the deal. I don't even think I have a 7th rounder. Do we at least have a 6th? Yes, we do. Because I didn't want to give up a 5th round pick. So we're going to be getting this man from the Minnesota Wild. We're going to give him an extension, and then we're going to get ready for next season. We're not going to be a good team, but we are going to be bringing in a new coach eventually. All right, so to begin the extensions, we're starting with wing goals here. We're going to do 4.9 for the next 8 years. Hopefully he develops into a really good player and we're able to keep him around. Morrison's another guy I'm looking to keep around long term here. We're doing 8.5 for the next 8 years. He's going to develop into an elite potential player, and at that price point, I think that's a smart deal. I suppose it wouldn't hurt if we brought in a backup goaltender. So who's on an extremely cheap contract we can bring in? This guy right here, he's an 81 overall. I'll give you $2 million for the next 2 years. We have $20 million in cap space, so we might as well do a deal like this. Okay, so Morrison said no to our last contract offer, so here's 8.8 for the next 8. I think that'll be enough to keep him on this team. Or at least get him to sign a contract. I mean, we don't necessarily need to keep him on this team, but I do need him to sign a contract. Alright, so this team's definitely in a worse spot. There's no doubt about it. But you know what? We're slowly rebuilding the team. We're pretty young. 25 years old, 19 years old, 22 years old. Porter Martone, we're keeping him around for this season. Same with Stankoven. But after this season, we're going to be doing some more changes to the team. Clifford, he's only 24 years old. We're heading in the right direction. We're doing a nice little rebuild here. We brought in a new coach. That's why these lines absolutely suck. But you know what? You either have to have good forward lines or you have to have good defensive lines. Defensively, I think we're pretty straight because you know what? We have a fantastic goaltender, 89 overall Mathot. He's going to be able to pick up the weaknesses there. So the one thing that we have to be able to do is score goals. That's what our coach is focused on, and that's what we're going to do this season. With the types of moves we made right now, I'm probably going to simulate to the end of the season. We're not going to make any trades here. Best case scenario, we completely suck and we get the first overall pick and that turns into a franchise potential player, or we win a Stanley Cup. But we can't have anything in the middle there. We can't be finishing 12th overall, make the playoffs, and then are out in the second round. That doesn't help us in the slightest. But first, we have to give a massive deal to Scrivens. It's going to be $7.5 million for the next 8 years. He's going to be one of our top playmakers. I want him to stay on this team. Tika Ginla, I would also like to keep you around at $5.4 million. That's a bit much. But you know what? I think we can get you for 4.7. Actually, we'll do 4.8 for the next 5 years. That's actually a decent deal for a bottom 6 guy like you. A lot of these other guys, though, they're going to be walking. Plain and simple. Okay, we're actually not done with deals because Gustafsson, we're going to do a big deal with you. 8 years at probably about $5.8 million. I think you're going to be one of the future faces of this team. So we're going to lock you down long term. So here's $5.8 million for the next 8 years. We're going to hope you develop into an elite potential defenseman. I'm giving you first pairing minutes next season, whether you're a 79 overall or a 0 overall. It doesn't matter what you are, you're playing some big minutes. Okay, come on, Gustafsson. You just got to accept that deal. I have to go back now. I simulate to the end of the season, but now I have to go back and give you an extension again. You're just wasting my time here. All right, so Gustafsson, I guess we're trying this again. 6.5 for the next 8 years. I feel like I offered you more money last time, but you know what? You only want 7.2 million now. So 6.5 for the next 8 years. That's actually a really good contract for you still. So there you go. So after everything was done with this team, 4th in the entire league, a 50, 28, and 4 record, an offense that scores a lot of goals, and a defense that keeps the puck out of the net. I mean, 3.2 is not good, but when you consider it to the entire league, it's not that bad. It's about middle of the pack. How the Montreal Canadiens are doing this after all the changes we made to our team makes no sense. But then in saying that, look at the big time players on this team. Clifford, 96 points. I think that's the most points we've seen by a Montreal Canadiens player since starting this video. We're in the year 2037. That says something about us. Thorne, 89 points. Stankoven, 82, but we're going to be shipping you up pretty soon. Porter Martone, 76 points. I might keep you around for a couple more years. Markstrom, 74 points. Wingles, he's picking up 60, minus 14 though. bro was on the ice for 74 goals against. I mean, barring some power play points, of course, but man, not looking too good defensively for you. And the goaltending, I'm not expecting these numbers to look too good, but Mathot, 40 wins, 6 shots, a 906 and a 290. These are actually really good. Our backup couldn't stop the puck to save his life, but I mean, yeah, we were actually very good defensively. Well, there's one thing I can say about this postseason right off the bat. We're taking on the Boston Bruins, so that's going to be a good rivalry matchup, but we're not going to be taking on Carolina in the conference finals because more than likely we're going to match up against them in the second round. Either them or the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's probably Toronto because we match up against them every postseason run. So we're going back and forth with the Boston Bruins right now. Game 5 is going to be a big one. We got to take that one. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be an OT loss, but you already know this team's going to be bouncing back in Game 6. A big 5-1 victory and we're off to Game 7. So here we go. Game 7. This is going to be a big one. We got to make it to the second round here. No messing around. We're going to be exchanging goals in the first period. Same thing's going to be happening in the second. But you already know we're taking over in the third period here. Of course, this is going to be happening. We're scoring on Askarov. Just want to point that out. We're picking up 4 against this man and we're off to the second round. We had to get our revenge on this man. I mean, he did nothing wrong to us. He just never made big plays in the postseason. Except for that one year he won us the Stanley Cup. I also just realized we've only won 1 Stanley Cup when we're in the year 2037. This has not been that successful of a rebuild. Wow, who would have saw this one coming? A matchup against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Haven't seen that one before. Woohoo. Now, real talk, I'm actually sick and tired of it. And like every other time we match up against the Toronto Maple Leafs, we're going to be beating them here in 5 games. A 3-2 overtime victory. We're in the conference finals once again. If this team wins the Stanley Cup after I made all those trades, I'm actually going to be a bit sick to my stomach because I think it took me a total of about 12 minutes to make all of those trades. Every offseason before that, I was making smart, calculated decisions. I was just winging it last offseason. I was just making trades just to make trades. So here we go, the conference finals once again for back-to-back years now. We're going to get back to that Stanley Cup final, but we're not going to lose this time around. I still haven't got over the fact that we were 14-0 and screwed it up. Like, man, that is something. All right, we're back in the Stanley Cup final after a clean sweep over the Washington Capitals. Did I think we were going to be sweeping Washington? Absolutely not. But yet, here we are in the Stanley Cup final once again. The Stanley Cup final for back-to-back years now. Last season, we started the postseason 14-0 and still found a way to lose. We rebuilt the entire team here. We traded away a lot of the old pieces, and somehow we found a way to make it all the way back. I have no clue how we've made it all the way back, but you know what? Since we're here, we might as well win. Alright, I don't know what just happened here, but somehow we dominated the Anaheim Ducks from start to finish and we're Stanley Cup champions in 5 games. Why was this team playing so good all of a sudden? We swept the Washington Capitals and then took Anaheim down in 5 games. We do realize everyone on this team is going to be getting better except for like 2 guys. Like our entire forward core is all under 25. I mean, except for Stankoven and Porter Martone. Okay, so like 4 of our 6 main pieces are going to be getting better. No, that's crazy. I can't believe this team just went and won a Stanley Cup. Like that actually makes absolutely no sense to me. Mathot, these numbers absolutely fantastic in the postseason once again. 16 wins, a 924 and a 257. I think the biggest change was picking up Mathot. Because look at this man in the past 2 postseasons. Absolutely dominated. Like we should have won here. We won here. Let's do it again next season. I'm ready to go on another deep run. So I have a plan for the future of this rebuild, and it's going to start with a deal like this. We're picking up a young prospect here. He's a 76 overall, 18 years old. Basically, we're going to be doing the exact same thing we've been doing so far. However, we're going to stack our first 2 forward lines. Like it's going to be like 88 overalls and above. We're going to stack our first defensive pairing. It's going to be like 288s as well. Our bottom 6 is going to be there strictly for defense, and our bottom 2 pairings, I don't care who plays, it can be 79 overalls. I feel like if we stack those 2 lines and then bring in young rookies to play in the 3rd and 4th line and 2nd and 3rd defensive pairing, then we're going to be fine for the future. I feel like as long as we have 8 really good players and 1 good goaltender, then we're perfectly fine. Can this logic backfire on us? A lot. Absolutely, but I think I'm cooking. And in order for my plan to work, we've got to acquire future picks here, and we're getting a 3rd rounder from the Arizona Coyotes. So basically, we're not going to make any draft picks here. All right, so we got to give it some extensions here, and for some reason, when I look at this guy's name, I want to call him Charizard. So we're signing Charizard 5 years at 1.8 million. I don't know why, but I just look at this name, and I just see Charizard. And that's not going to be the only extension we're giving out here because I'm also going to give this guy 4 years at 2.4. Okay, Charizard was an L-Mans and he didn't sign the extension, but you know what? I do want to keep him on this team. 5 years at 2.1 million. I really don't care what it costs. Actually, we're going to do 5 years at $2 million. That's still a pretty reasonable deal. Okay, Charizard, you got to accept this extension here. You're kind of bugging now. Also, I think somebody just aged. Like, I think somebody went from 30 years old to 31. I just noticed that. I legitimately think their birthday was like a couple days ago. Okay, we finally signed Charizard. I think it was like 2.1 million. Also, I completely forgot we have this medium elite potential goaltender. I'm going to give him 1.7 for the next 4 years. He's not going to turn into an elite potential goaltender, but you know what? He'll be a good backup for us. And then with everyone else here that's not an RFA, they're all going to be walking. Okay, I want to give extensions out right now, but Clifford does not want to return to the team, and we cannot do a reasonable deal with him. And then with Markstrom, we also can't do a reasonable deal because I want to do more than 5 years. Anything more than 5 years is completely ridiculous, so we're going to wait a bit on these 2 extensions right now. Port Martone, I think we're just going to ride out your contract for this season as we're going to try to repeat. Backstrom, I definitely want to give you an extension here. We're doing 2 years at $1.2 million. You're an 80 overall left defenseman. That's actually going to be a really good contract for an 80 overall. All right, I'm going to be completely honest. I have no clue what I was cooking up with this Morrison deal, but we got to get rid of it. 8.8 for an 84 overall. I don't know what I was on. I also do want to clear up a bit of cap space here. So Jamie Drysdale, you're off to the Detroit Red Wings for 2 third-rounders and that young player there. We're going to bring in another right defenseman because I don't think Gustafson's ready to take the reins yet. I'll give him 1 season on the second pairing, and then we'll move him up to the first. So this is the deal we're going to do with Malk, and it's going to be a 1-year deal at I think $10 million. We'll keep him on the team for 1 season. Actually, we'll do 9.6 because I don't want to go up to $10 million. 9.6 for 1 season. He's going to be one of our best defensemen. We're going to run it back with basically the exact same team. I mean, we did lose a few pieces, but we're building for the future. All right, so Shaw's not going to be coming back because he wants $6 million, so we're shipping him over to the Philadelphia Flyers for a young prospect. He's got 2 years left on his entry-level deal. Ideally, we can re-sign him to a reasonable contract once that's up. I don't think we're going to be able to, but you know what? You never know. So we have a couple RFAs we're not bringing back, so I'm sending them over to the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're getting Keller. He's an 83 overall that can play on the bottom 6. He's going to be a nice piece to the team. I really thought this deal would be enough. I guess we have to throw 2 5th-rounders in. 2 5th-rounders will be more than enough to get this complete, though. So I'm happy I waited on a Markstrom extension because we're actually going to be able to get one done now, but this is still going to be very expensive for us. It's going to be $13 million per year for the next 8 seasons. He's a great player. He's going to develop well for us, but even still, that's quite a bit of money. Clifford, on the other hand, we're still waiting for because an 8-year extension, he wants $22 million. It's not happening. All right, so the forward core is looking absolutely incredible here. A lot of the young guys developed. Clifford, he's got a superstar X factor now. Things are looking absolutely fantastic. The bottom 6, we might have a couple guys here playing out of position, but you know what? We're going to be perfectly fine. Defensively, we're still looking good. This guy's one of our best defensemen. Haven't learned his name. Probably never will. Gustafson's going to be jumping into the lineup here, and I'm actually going to allow him to get some first pairing minutes. I think that's the best for his development. Meanwhile, the goaltending method, we already know what this man can do. It's time for him to do it again. Also, I don't know why I went through all that effort to sign Charizard. We're trading him over to the Boston Bruins now for 2 third-round picks. I literally wasted so much time trying to sign him, only for us to trade him away. And he's not the only man we're trading away because we're also going to be trading this guy away. He's off to the Columbus Blue Jackets for 2 third-round picks. We're acquiring a bunch of picks here because we're going to be using them in the next couple of years for trades. So Clifford's finally willing to do a decent extension here. We're doing $14 million per year for the next 8 years. But you know what? We want to lock down the superstar players. So at this point, I'm throwing our former coach under the bus. He's the reason we weren't winning. A 60, 19, and 3 season. We're first in the entire league, almost scoring 4 goals per game and only allowing 2.71. You can make the argument our defense is worse, but yet here are our numbers. It was that man's fault. We didn't have a good coach. He was the reason we are failing. The scoring on this team, absolutely insane by the top guys. Stankoven, 101 points. First 100-point player of the video. And it's Stankoven at 35 years old. That makes so much sense. Clifford, 97 points here. Port Martone, 92. Markstrom, 87. He's having a fantastic season. Meanwhile, the goaltending method, unreal. 50 wins, 3 shouts, and 917 to 250. This team's ready to repeat. And we have the perfect team to start off against in the first round. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've already handed this team a handful of L's. Let's add another one to the list. So I'm not saying anything. We're just going to simulate the round. We're already 3 games in. I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to simulate games. That really happened. Like, that really happened right here. We lost in 5 games. A 60-win team, by the way. Yeah, not too happy about that one. You know what? I really don't care who wins the Stanley Cup. I don't care what the numbers of our team were. I know for a fact the goaltending numbers aren't going to look good, considering we allowed 8 goals in the final game. We're just heading right to the draft here. We're going to bring in some good young prospects. We're putting the plan into motion right here. Yeah, we're going to be back next season for sure. We're going to be a great team. I mean, Stankoven, I can't guarantee that man's going to be back because he's probably going to decline a lot, but we'll find a replacement for him. We're managing the money here a very strange way, but you know what? It's going to work out for us in the long term. Okay, so this is the plan. This man just got drafted, 18 years old, a 76 overall. We have to trade for him now before the re-sign phase because I know for a fact that Washington, they're going to sign him immediately once they get to the re-sign phase. However, if we trade for him right now, I'm not going to sign him for 2 seasons. That gives him 2 more seasons to develop. After that, I'm going to sign him to his 3-year rookie contract, and then we'll be able to put him in the NHL. He might only be a 79 overall, but we're going to get a 79 overall for 3 seasons on an incredibly cheap contract. That's how we're going to be filling out our bottom pairings for the rest of this video. So we're just going to trade for prospects like this. I'm trading the 28th overall over to Washington, and we're also getting a 4th rounder in the deal. I guess we're not getting a 4th rounder, but we are going to get the prospect I want. Is that really not enough? Like, I feel like I'm offering more than I have to. We have a lot of 3rd round picks for 2039. I just realized that. Okay, here's a 6th round pick as well. This is going to get the prospect we need. So that's prospect number 1, and we're going to be acquiring a couple more here. The next prospect is going to be coming from the LA Kings. We're getting a 72 overall here, 17 years old, top 4 potential. Hopefully by the time we bring him into the lineup, he's going to be a 78 overall. So this trade philosophy right here also applies to forwards. I'm bringing a 77 overall in. He's 17 years old. Hopefully when we bring him into the lineup, he's going to be an 80 overall player. Unfortunately, they're going to be saying no to this deal, but I know for a fact we have draft picks we can use next season. So here's a 5th rounder as well. This is going to be more than enough. This is really not enough. Okay, I'm taking out that 5th rounder and I'm throwing in a 4th instead. I know for a fact this 4th rounder is going to be enough. I'm offering that over to Vegas. We're getting this deal done. So we have $10 million to work with. Porter Martone's not going to be coming back to the team because $10.8 million, that's actually not even enough for him because that's all we have. He wants 12.2. Malkin, on the other hand, we actually do have enough money for him. So I could technically re-sign him, but I feel like that's just a bit expensive. So after consideration, I'm actually going to keep Malkin on this team because we can get him for a pretty reasonable deal here. We're doing 7.8 for the next 6 seasons. I mean, if he doesn't accept this deal, we're not going to be bringing him back. Okay, we're not bringing him back. He actually made that a lot easier than I thought. Porter Martone, we're also not bringing back. Bro wants 12.2 million. Now we do have to fill out the bottom 6 a little bit here. Niedermeyer, here's 2.4 for the next 5 years. You can be a good bottom 6 guy for us. That's going to be the only extension we give out because Stankoven, we're just going to ride your contract out. The fact that you're still an 87 overall at 35 makes absolutely no sense. So I think this is going to be the last real big move we make here. We're picking up Pan from the Vancouver Canucks, 86 overall at 28 years old. He's going to be a good player for the top 6. Outside this move right here, all the moves from here on out are going to be pretty small ones. I'm going to have to throw a 3rd rounder in this deal as well, but that's going to be enough to get it done. Basically, our top 6 is set for the rest of this rebuild. Our 2 defensive pairings are set. It's just going to be small moves from here on out. Now, I did say we have some small moves to make, and this one's just going to be for the bottom 6 here. We need another centerman. All right, so the top 6 here is going to be staying the same for hopefully the rest of the video here. The only thing that sucks is Pan does not have a good line fit, but you know what? We're going to see what happens here. The bottom 6, that's what's really going to be changing over the next couple of years. From time to time, we're going to have new players entering the lineup. Defensively, we're going to see what this top pairing can do. Ideally, Gustafson does turn into a top defenseman for us, but I'm low-key scared about his progression because he's only an 82 overall right now. The next 2 pairings, they're never going to have good line chemistry, so we're not going to even worry about it. A -1 boost and a -2 boost is not the end of the world because we have a goaltender like Mathod, an 89 overall. We can rely on him for the rest of the rebuild. He's our guy. And since I'm so confident in this team, we're swimming right to the end of the season. We're not making any trades. We're going to win 55 games again. I mean, last year we won 60, but I think that was a bit of a fluke. I can't see us winning 60 again. Also, when I said the forward core is not going to be changing, eventually we are going to bring in a replacement for Stankoven. Because I mean, bro's 37 years old. This is his last season with the team. All right, so it's another incredible season by the Montreal Canadiens, first in the entire league with a 51-25-6 record, almost 4 goals per game with one of the best defenses in the entire league. Actually, we might have the best defense in the entire league. There's only 2 teams below 3 goals per game, and we're one of them. Clifford's having another fantastic season here, picking up 98 points. Markstrom's got 87, and Stankoven's final season with the team because this is going to be the last. 84 points here. He's over a point a game. You'll love to see it. And the goaltending, we already know what Mathod can do. He's just doing his regular thing. So we've seen some incredible numbers from Mathod, and we've gone on some deep postseason runs. I'm hoping that happens again here. We're not going to talk about what happened last season though, because yeah, that was tough. All right, so game 5 is going to be a big one because so far the series is all tied up. We can't be losing 3 straight games here. That's a big shutout from the thought right there, and we're going to close this out in game 6. Never mind, we're off to game 7 once again. We were first in the entire league, by the way, but here we are going to game 7. And so far things aren't looking good. We're down 2-1 in this game, entering the 3rd period. We got to bounce back big time here. Nope, out in the 1st round once again. This has been happening way too frequently. All right, so that was a tough one. Back-to-back 1st round exits for this team after finishing first in the entire league both times. Mathod, you just weren't that guy. An 888 and a 339. What happened to the Mathod that used to lead us to deep postseason runs? Because these 2 right here, definitely not it. These 2 right here, though, that's called goaltending. The last 2 postseasons have been tough on this team. All right, so we are Alright, so you already know what we're going to be doing here. We're trading draft picks for players, and the New York Islanders, they picked up two great prospects in this draft, an 18-year-old who's a 72 overall, and a 17-year-old who's a 75 overall. Both of these guys are going to be able to jump onto the team in the next couple of years, so I'm going to trade 3 third-round picks and 1 second-round pick. Unfortunately, though, that's not going to be enough. We have to throw in another 7th-rounder. I don't know why I said another 7th-rounder. This is the first 7th-rounder thrown in this trade. We're going to get this deal done. 2 nice young prospects are going to be joining the team. They're not going to be joining the team right now, but in 3 years we'll sign them. Alright, I made the poor decision of trying to make draft picks. I don't know what it has been about this draft, but I have missed on every single selection. There's one video on this channel, I can't remember what it is, but I had 8 picks in the draft. 6 of those picks, elite potential players, and of those 6 elite potential players, 3 of them had medium elite potential. You're telling me I've drafted 1 elite potential player since this video began? I have just had no luck. Okay, so we're not really doing any re-signings here, except I will sign this rookie. He's 20 years old, 79 overall. He'll probably jump into the lineup next season. Other than that, we're just qualifying these RFAs, and then we're going to be shipping them out, because they all want one-way deals, and I'm not giving a one-way deal to a 74 overall. That's just not happening. Alright, so when it comes to extensions, we don't have a ton of guys to bring back here, but we are going to start with Thorne. I mean, he's actually going to be the only guy we're bringing back here. We're doing 12.3 for the next 8 years. That's going to keep him around for a majority of the rebuild now, because I think we only have about 10 years left. So Thorne, you're going to be here for most of them, if not all of them. Alright, so Gustafsson is not living up to the hype here, so we have to ship him out, and we're going to bring in Shannon. He's a right defenseman, high top 4 potential, 83 overall. He's actually better than Gustafsson already, so it's going to be Gustafsson and a 1st-round pick over to the Buffalo Sabres for Shannon and a 4th. Unfortunately, we're not getting the 4th rounder, but we are going to get this deal done still. Shannon is going to need an extension, but you know what? We're about to do some crazy juggling with the cap. Alright, so there is this young player from the New York Rangers. He has low elite potential. He's on his rookie deal, but he's an 86 overall. I don't care what this guy turns into. I can guarantee he's going to be a top 6 potential player for us. He's going to be one of our centermen for the future. I'm trading one of our RFAs along with a 3rd-round pick over to the Rangers. They're saying no, but I don't care what it takes. We're getting this deal done. Here's a 4th rounder as well. If I have to throw in a prospect, I will, but I don't think I'm going to have to. We just need to throw in a 7th-round pick. Basically, the core we have right now is the core for the future. I know I said that at the beginning of last season, but we had to make a few adjustments. Now this is the core. After we free up some cap space, of course, we're trading some bottom 6 guys that are getting paid way too much money. Tiga Ginla, you're probably going to be one of them. So when I say we're keeping this core around, I mean we're giving extensions like this. Shannon, 10.5 for the next 8 years. We're going to have everybody on our top 6 and top 2 defensive pairings getting paid $10 million each. Everyone else, we want on vet minimums. Alright, so I think we're going to have to clear up a bit of money here. So Lockhart and one of our RFAs is being sent over to the Anaheim Ducks, and we're picking up a 2nd and 3rd rounder. By making this move, we clear up 2.7 million, and I think we're going to be able to bring back both those guys we give extensions to, because beforehand it was going to be pretty close. Alright, so we do have to clear up a couple more millions here, and this is going to be the next move we're making. We're just picking up this young defenseman from the LA Kings. He's an 80 overall under contract for the next 2 years at $1 million. That sounds like a good contract to me. Alright, so this forward core right here is going to be around for a majority of the video from here on out. We're going to be riding out absolutely everyone's contract. Pan, you're the oldest guy here, 29 years old. But you know what? We'll keep you around till you're 35. Defensively, these top 2 guys, they're going to be leading the way for us. I'm not too worried here. Backstrom, I think I'm actually going to have you play in the 3rd pairing just because you have better line fits then. But other than that, this is the defensive core we're rocking. 2 great defensemen at the top, and then a bunch of depth guys. They can hold it down. They're not too bad. And then Mathot, you're an 88 overall. We've seen what you've been able to do in the previous postseasons. I mean, not the last 2, but the 2 before that, you were absolutely spectacular. I want you getting back to that form. So like usual, the boys are absolutely flying. We're 4th in the entire league with a 38, 20, and 6 record. The offense, not quite as good as last season, but the defense, it's still looking spectacular. 2.94 allowed. The top 6 on this team's doing their thing. Markstrom, 70 points. Clifford, 69. Thorne, 68. Dupita, 64. And then the goaltending numbers, I have a feeling that Mathot's putting up some historic numbers. I mean, they're not historic, but 31 wins, 3 shots, a 914, a 274. I'll definitely take these. Far from historic though. I don't even know why I tried to gas them up. Now when it comes to making any trades here, the only thing that we're going to contemplate doing is bringing in another defenseman. Other than that, I don't think we're going to make any trades. David Jiricek, welcome to the team. I'm making this trade immediately. Either you or Nemec. I'm actually not too sure. We actually could bring in both of you guys because your trade value is pretty low. But we're starting with David Jiricek. So I think 2 second rounders right here is going to be enough for David Jiricek. I'm sending that over to the Arizona Coyotes. That's the lone move we're making. Let's get ready for a postseason run. That was very simple. So this is what we're going to do for the defense here. Jiricek's going to be playing on the 2nd pairing alongside Backstrom, where they're going to be getting a +1 boost. While our top pairing, they're going to be getting a +2. Okay, I'm very surprised after making that trade for David Jiricek, we were worse, but we're 7th in the entire league with a 46, 26, and 10 record. I don't know why this team can't win in overtime. Like, if we could win games in overtime, we'd be a much better team. First in the entire league, probably. Offense was pretty good, while the defense, still not too bad. Below 3 goals per game, we'll always take that. The top performers here are looking great. That's really what's carrying the way. Like, look at all these guys. Over 70 points here, and then you drop down to our bottom 6. Yeah, it's tough out here, but you know what? The top 6 is carrying the way. That's how we built this team. Mathot, 37 wins, 3 shots in 912 and a 278. I need you to go back to 3 seasons ago when you won us the Stanley Cup. Those are the numbers I'm looking for. So this is going to be a very strange postseason for us. We can't play the Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round because they didn't make the playoffs. You know who else didn't make the playoffs? The Carolina Hurricanes. This is going to be a very strange postseason. We're going to be playing a bunch of different teams here, but it just doesn't matter. We're going to show up here and win a Stanley Cup. Tampa's not ready for us. No, we really can't catch a break here. We win game 1 6-2. Things are looking fantastic for the team. And then everything completely fell apart. We're out in the first round once again. That's 3 years in a row now. This team really can't show up anymore. Something happened. What changed? You know what? I'm scared to look at the postseason numbers here, but you know what? We'll still take a look. They're not going to look good in the slightest. I mean, like the top guys here did not perform in the slightest. Markstrom, I am paying you how many millions of dollars? $13 million, and you picked up 3 points for me. Plain and simple, the top guys didn't perform. What is this? That is something. I don't know what it is, but it's something. All right, so Backstrom, we're not going to be able to afford you because you're going to want an extension here. Rantanen, you just got drafted by the Buffalo Sabres, a 75 overall. You'll be able to play in the lineup in a couple of years, so I'm going to make this trade right here. I guess that's not going to be enough, but you know what? We'll just throw a 5th rounder in the deal as well. Then this will be enough to get this deal done. So that's going to be a defenseman that's going to jump to the lineup in a couple of years. Backstrom, he wants $9 million. He's an 80 overall. Nothing else needs to be said. Now, here's the reason I've been picking up all these young players. Landry, he's finally going to be jumping into the lineup here. We're doing a rookie deal at $1 million. For a 79 overall, $1 million is an incredible deal. We're also going to be signing this other rookie. Unfortunately, he hasn't really developed a ton here, but still, $1 million for a 75 overall isn't necessarily the end of the world. I also do want to mention our coach just retired, so now we actually have to do some big changes to this team because I built the entire team around him. So we got to bring in a new coach that has line fits with all of those guys. Thanks for screwing it up, coach. So we are going to have to continue to do a ridiculous job juggling the cap here, and that's going to involve losing Tika Ginla, $4.8 million for an 83 overall. It's just not worth it anymore. So I'm going to be shipping over to the Arizona Coyotes, and we're getting a 79 overall that can play on our bottom 6. Unfortunately, this is really not going to be enough. I don't know why we can't get a deal like this done, but here's the 6th round pick as well. We're giving up quite a bit to ditch Tika Ginla. You know what? We're actually not doing this. This is way too much. Arizona, you should have accepted this. So Arizona was bugging, so Tika Ginla, you're now going over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're getting Simmons, he's an 81 overall, so that's actually better for us, and we're going to get a 4th rounder as well. Arizona, you could have had Tika Ginla, but you were being greedy. That's why you're not getting them. Okay, so I'm just full of cap in this video. I said our forward core was set for the rest of the video, and Pan was going to be here. But I'm actually taking that back. Pan, we're going to trade you because I can get a replacement for you that would be about $3 to $4 million less. I'm trading you over to the Vancouver Canucks. I'm going to send you over to the Vancouver Canucks. We're getting Boyd in a 2nd round pick. Boyd's going to be a bottom 6 piece for us, and that 2nd rounder has a bit of value. So with Harrison, I want to make sure you join the team. So we're going to do a 7-year contract at $9.2 million. I think that's a great deal for you. That's way more than what you're asking for. But if we can bring you onto this team, we're going to be freeing up about $2 million, and that's going to be good for us. Now, this is going to be the last trade we do here before we get into next season. We're picking up Grand Pierre from the Minnesota Wild. He's going to play the right D for us. It's exactly what we need. I really am surprised that you're not accepting this deal. I'm giving you a 2nd round pick for this guy. Here's a 7th rounder as well. That's the difference. I always wonder, like, why is the 7th round pick always the difference? Like, I understand it's a game and they have like a system for gauging trade value and all that, but even still, it's like I offered you a 2nd rounder and there's like absolutely no way we're accepting this deal. And then I give them a 7th rounder and they're like, man, that's a steal right there. All right, bad news. Harrison's signing with the Arizona Coyotes. We're going to Arizona and we're trading for him now. We need this man on our team. I literally am planning stuff for him to be on this team, and now he's not here. Luckily, he doesn't have a ton of trade value. 9.3 for 6 years. We could easily trade for this man. What do we have to give up? I'll give you Tampa's 2nd round pick and Anaheim's 3rd round pick. They're going to say no to that deal. I'll throw in a 4th rounder from the Columbus Blue Jackets. All of these picks aren't even ours. There we go. We got Harrison. Simple as that. So unfortunately here with the new coach, the line fits aren't as good on the top 6, but you know what? These guys are still pretty good hockey players. They're going to be able to hold it down. The bottom 6, it's still looking looking strong, even with all these young players. I think we're going to be set for the future with our top 6. And then with this defensive pairing right here, I know for a fact our defense is going to be good. The next 2 pairings not the strongest in the world, but we have a bunch of guys that know how to play their role, and that's more important. Mathot, we know what you can do during the regular season. I'm not really sure what you can do in the playoffs anymore, because the last 3 postseasons, you have been absolutely abysmal. I'm going to keep it $150 with you. If you want to be one of the best goaltenders in the league, you got to perform when it matters most. And lately, you haven't been doing that. All right, so I honestly thought a 55-win season would be enough for first in the entire league, but apparently it isn't. 55, 23-4, the best offense in the entire league and one of the best defenses. I think our defense is second in the entire league, only behind the San Jose Sharks. We have a better offense than them. So if we have to match up against San Jose in the postseason, that's going to be a good matchup. But that would be in the Stanley Cup final, of course, and that means we have to get through the first round. And how confident am I in us getting out of the first round? Very low. Like, I have almost zero confidence in this team to do that. Although we looked absolutely fantastic during the regular season, and the goaltending numbers here look absolutely spectacular, this team's going to find a way to fold. So it looks like we're going to be losing to the Columbus Blue Jackets unless we can pull off a miracle here and finally get out of the first round. This team should go on a run. Like, we have a very good core here. We just got to stop folding when it matters most. The offense has to produce, and the goaltending, that's got to be good as well. Oh no, the boys are done messing around. We're through the first round in a 4-game sweep. This team's looking for another Stanley Cup. So the Columbus Blue Jackets are just a bunch of frauds. We're taking them out in a clean sweep, and we moved on to the second round. But this is where it gets serious. The Boston Bruins, they were a top 5 team during the regular season, but I don't care about the regular season. This is the playoffs, and this is when it matters most. The great teams show up here. No, we're really proving that we're one of the best teams in the league right now. We're taking out the Boston Bruins here in a 5-game series. Never mind, we're going to make that a 6-game series. We better not lose here. We're moving on to the conference finals, and we've seen this team before. The Carolina Hurricanes, we know how to beat them, but they also know how to beat us. But this time around, it looks like we're going to be coming out on top. We're taking down the Carolina Hurricanes in a 6-game series here. As long as we don't completely fold, here we are, the Stanley Cup final. And we got to turn on the face cam for the Stanley Cup final because this team's been absolutely showing out right now. We're going to simulate through the first 4 games, and it looks like we're on a bit of a win streak here. We won 3 straight games to start the series off, and we're going to close out in game 5. Montreal's finally won a Stanley Cup after years of disappointment. Mathot finally showed up after 3 years of basically doing absolutely nothing. It's good to see this team on top again. So I just want to point this out right now. Markstrom, 20 points in 21 games. What did he do last postseason, and what was the main difference? Oh, the big time players actually showed up here. When this team succeeds, the big time players make big time plays. 20 points in 21 games. 20 points in 21 games. Right here? Yeah, he was not that guy. When the big time players show up, this team's succeeding. The goaltending numbers, Mathot, wow, who would have saw this one coming? 16 wins, 3 shouts, a 931 and a 230. When the big time players show up, we're Stanley Cup champions. When the big time players play like crap, we don't stand a chance. So if I've done the math right, we have 7 seasons left in this rebuild. So that means if I give Dopita $12.6 million for the next 7 years, that's going to keep him on this team for the rest of the rebuild. With the rest of this team, we're basically just going to bring in young rookies. Like, our bottom 6 and second and third pairings are going to be absolutely awful. But you know what won us that Stanley Cup? The top guys. So I want to make sure the top guys stay on this team. All right, so Bradford, you helped us win a Stanley Cup. You're a good second pairing guy, maybe third pairing. I actually don't remember. But now I'm sending you to the Edmonton Oilers for a prospect because you want $19 million. Bro's wildin'. And that's not going to be the only move we make here because they're also picking this prospect up from the Florida Panthers. He was selected like 10th overall or something. We can't keep this defenseman on the team because he wants like $15 million as well. These 80 overall defensemen wanting $15 million is actually wild. Now, $15 million is an exaggeration, but I'm not kidding when these 80 overall defensemen are asking for $9 million. So that's why I'm trading them all away. So we're going to try something different here. Normally I am trading for prospects, but this time around we're actually not going to trade for prospects. We're going to trade for a future first round pick, and that's from the Dallas Stars. So I'm going to give you the 32nd overall. They're going to say no to this deal, but if I give you a 6th round pick as well, I think that's going to be enough to get this deal done. So now we just have to hope that Dallas completely collapses next season. Now I do want to show this. Simmons, 82 overall, 33 years old. He had a great season with the team. How much do you think an 82 overall is asking for? Oh, 7.5 million. That's pretty reasonable. Grand Pierre, I brought you in last season. You're making 1.2 million right now. Now you want 3.1. That's actually not a bad contract. But you are a 78 overall, so I mean, it's not good, but it could be a lot worse. So yeah, I'm just going to sign all the rookies, qualify some RFAs. Some of these rookies are going to be jumping into the lineup, especially that 80 overall. The rest of the guys here, probably not. We also do need to sign a backup goaltender. This guy, 1.3 million. I guess that works. So we're only making 2 trades here. The first is going to be picking up this defenseman from the New Jersey Devils. 3 years left left on his contract, but he's a 79 overall. I don't think a prospect in a 5th rounder is going to be enough, but I guess it will be. So that's a steal for us. And then this is going to be the second move we do. We're just picking up a young guy from the Arizona Coyotes, 2.2 million. He's a 79 overall. He can help the right side defense a little bit. I was hoping to get that 4th rounder, but you know what? If we can't get it, it's not the end of the world. I actually lied. We're doing 3 trades because Dan Post is sent over to the Carolina Hurricanes for 2 third rounders. No point keeping this man on the team. Well, we can't keep him on the team. He's an RFA and he wants $7 million. So last season, we were able to win a Stanley Cup and we kept the top 6 together here. So that means we're going to be winning another Stanley Cup. The bottom 6 on this team actually looks pretty strong, so I think we're in a good position. Defensively, the top pairing is incredible. 288 overalls. I don't care who's on the next 2 pairings. They can hold it down. And in between the pipes, you already know who the goaltender is, Mathot. The dude's an absolute legend when he plays up to his potential. When he plays like the best in the league, he is the best in the league. But then sometimes he plays like a bottom 5 goaltender in the postseason, and then we don't stand a chance. So hopefully he's done playing like a bottom 5 goaltender and we can go on a streak here of winning like 6 Stanley Cups in a row. Also, I thought I mentioned we're not making any trades here because we have about 100k in cap space, so I don't even know how we can make any moves. We're going right to the end of the season and we're going to finish 1st overall. So for a team that finished 1st in their division, we were not a good team this season. 9th in the entire league with a 45, 33, and 4 record. The offense took a massive step back and so did the defense. To be fair, I'm not overly surprised that happened because I mean our defense is worse and our bottom 6 isn't quite as good. But if the top players can step up in the postseason, then I know for a fact this team can go on a run. This team really rides or dies on our top players. Like this season, they were not good, plain and simple. The top guys were not performing. The goaltending numbers, they weren't that good from a thought. 34 wins, 4 shutouts. It's not that bad, but it's also not that good. However, if all these guys play up to their potential in the postseason, then we can easily win a Stanley Cup and repeat here. Montreal and Philly have been going back and forth in this series so far. Game 5 is going to be a big one. We're going to be shutting them out, and in Game 6, we're going to be showing up again. We're going to pick up a ton of goals here. 4 goals might not be a ton, but it is going to allow us to advance to the 2nd round. Alright, so we moved on to the 2nd round, and I guess there was a massive upset because there's no reason we should be taking on the Ottawa Senators, seeing as they had a worse record than us. But hey, in the postseason, a lot of things can happen. So Ottawa, you might be able to upset us, but we also might be able to win a Stanley Cup and win back-to-back here. Alright, similar to the Philadelphia Flyers series, we've been going back and forth with the Ottawa Senators, but I think we have the momentum right now, and a Game 5 win would certify that. Now we just have to win in Game 6, and then we're off to the conference finals. That's exactly what's going to be happening, and now we got the Washington Capitals. Montreal's got a bit of momentum right now, and I hope that continues into this matchup right here. We're going back and forth with the Washington Capitals. We always seem to win Game 5, but unfortunately that's not happening here. But we'll just respond in Game 6 and force a Game 7. And in Game 7, it's time for this team to show out. Alright, similar to a couple years ago, my mic was muted, but we are going to be winning this one after scoring 3 unanswered, and we're off to the Stanley Cup final. I really have to stop muting my mic. So here we go, the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Anaheim Ducks. We have a chance of completing the repeat here. There's 2 things that need to happen in order for us to repeat. Of course, big time players got to make big time plays, and Mathot, stop the puck, plain and simple. So here we go, one of the most important series of the video. If we're able to win here, then we would have gone back to back, something that doesn't happen very often for us. We've won 3 games so far in this series. Ideally, we're going to close it out in game number 5 here. It's not going to be happening in game number 5, but in game number 6, we're going to show out. Did we just beat Anaheim in back-to-back postseasons now? Because I feel like we played them in the Stanley Cup final last year. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Back-to-back Stanley Cups for the Montreal Canadiens. Next season's the three-peat. Once again, just want to point out with Markstrom, 11 goals, 10 assists for 21 points. When this man scores 21 points in the postseason, we're winning a Stanley Cup. It's happened every single time he scored 21 points in the postseason. You might think I'm lying, but I'm actually serious. Okay, I take it back. He scored 20 points here and he scored 20 points here. As long as he scores over 20 points, though, we're going to be winning a Stanley Cup. And Mathot, as long as you put up good numbers like this, we're also winning Stanley Cups. So how many Stanley Cups have we won in this video now? We've won 4, and I think all of them have come with Mathot except for 1. So we've won 3 Stanley Cups with Mathot, and we've made it to 4 Stanley Cup finals. If we didn't go through this drought right here, we might have another 2 Stanley Cups. So we're cooking up a massive deal with the Boston Bruins, which is going to send the 20th overall pick, which is the Dallas Stars. We're going to get this guy that just was drafted, who's a 78 overall. He's already got an X Factor at 17 years old. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to jump into the lineup this season. He might, but we also might wait one more year. Are we really not going to get a 3rd round pick from them? That's kind of wild. You got to give me a 4th rounder or something. I need a pick as well as that prospect. So we're going to do this deal right here. Okay, just give me the prospect. I really don't care if we're getting finessed. However, that's not going to be the only trade we're doing right now, because Seattle also got an incredible prospect. And this guy right here, he's a 78 overall at 18 years old. He's going to be able to jump to the bottom 6 pretty quick. So here's the 32nd overall pick in exchange for him. Seattle's accepting that deal immediately. We got 2 great players for the future. I think I might bring them onto the team next season, but I also might wait one more year and give them 1 season to develop. No, there's actually an unreal amount of good prospects right now. We're going to be trading the rest of our picks over to the Winnipeg Jets to get this defenseman right here. We didn't have to give up that extra 4th round pick, but you know what? I'm perfectly fine with doing it. He was a 76 overall. It's going to take him 1 more year to develop, but once he is ready, he's going to take over the league for us. I mean, he's not going to take over the league. He's going to take over the 2nd and 3rd pairing. So this is all we're doing during the re-sign phase is we're qualifying some RFAs. These 2 UFAs, they're going to be walking, and then these 2 guys here, they're also going to be walking. We'll bring in a cheap backup goaltender, and then we just have to rebuild our 2nd and 3rd defensive pairings. Other than that, we're going to be fine. So Pius Tola, you're 33 years old. You're not going to be getting any better here. And if anything, you're actually going to start declining. So I'm going to ship you over to the Philadelphia Flyers. We're getting Harper. He has medium elite potential. He's an 87 overall. I'm willing to pay this man quite the bag. Unfortunately, we can't go 1 for 1 here, but I will throw a 7th rounder in the deal just to get it done. A 7th rounder for 2044, that's definitely going to be enough. So we got Harper. Now we're going to give that man a massive extension, and he's going to be around for the rest of the rebuild. And with the Harper extension, I'm actually very happy with this. 12.5 for the next 7 years. We're actually saving a bit of money here, and he's going to keep on getting better. So yeah, that's a W if you ask me. And I just realized Mathot needs an extension as well. And of course, we're going to be keeping this man on the team. We're going to do 9.5 for the next couple of years. Actually, 9.7. All right, so as we know, we got to pick up some right defensemen. And this guy right here, who we qualified as an RFA, along with the 6th round picks being sent over to the Dallas Stars, we got 1 right defenseman. Now we just have to pick up another. And then the next trade's just done with the Arizona Coyotes for us to bring in another right defenseman. Small moves are being made, but they're for the betterment of the team. All right, so we got to fill out the bottom 6 because a couple of those RFAs are bugging and they want $9 million. Bjorkstrand's going to be the first player we acquire. He's going to be a 3rd line center for us. All right, so it's time to keep on making small additions to the bottom 6 here. We're picking up Hayward, Howard, whatever you want to call him. Heward. Don't really matter. He's playing some bottom 6 minutes. I really butchered that name. I don't know how I did that, but I did. So Harper actually said no to our first deal, so we're doing 10.8 for the next 7 now. Really, it doesn't make much of a difference. Also, I completely forgot it wouldn't hurt if we brought in a backup goaltender. We're doing Lowry, who's 34 years old. We'll do 2 years at $1 million. Okay, real talk, Harper, you gotta stop declining these deals. I'm trying to get a deal done here, but you just keep on saying no. Just accept this next contract I give you. So here's 11 point, I don't know, like 3 million, I guess. That's 500K less. You're going to accept that contract. All right, so we're giving up way too much here. I'm actually taking out that 5th rounder. We're just getting an 80 overall to play on the bottom 6 here. I was really about to include a 5th rounder in that deal. That would have been a massive mistake. I mean, then again, it is just a 5th rounder, so who really cares? But even still. So we've won back-to-back Stanley Cups now, and now it's time for the three-peat. A majority of the core is coming back. You already know what we do here. We win games, and we win Stanley Cups. The goaltending, we got a new backup, but that doesn't change anything because Mathot's still our number 1 goaltender, although he has dropped to an 87 overall. Normally I would be concerned, but look at this team right here. We've won 2 Stanley Cups in a row. Why would things change? Then again, when it comes to the actual regular season, we didn't play that good. So hopefully we don't just completely choke here and miss the postseason, because that is a possibility. So the Montreal Canadiens are absolutely flying right now. We're first in the entire league at the trade deadline. We're scoring a lot of goals, and defensively, we're absolutely perfect. Who would have thought? Definitely not me. Like, when you look at our defensive core, it's not strong outside that first pairing. But you know what? Things are working here. This team's scoring a lot of goals. I mean, the offense has taken a bit of a step back, but you know what? We're still looking absolutely fantastic. And Mathot's goaltending numbers, 34 wins, 6 shouts, a 909, and a 268. Absolutely spectacular. Can't complain about this. Now, looking at what's available here at the trade deadline, we're not going to be making any moves. And I think for the rest of this video, we're done making moves at the trade deadline. It's just so incredibly difficult to make moves because now the contracts make absolutely no sense. Like Malkin here, 84 overall, $13 million. How am I going to be able to afford that? This guy right here, $9 million. It's not too bad, but he is an 84 overall. Like, the numbers just get absolutely insane. Even this defenseman, 50% retained, he's $8 million. His contract right now is 16.4. Like, how am I supposed to afford that even at 50% retained? Like, it's absolutely impossible. That's why our 2nd and 3rd pairing has been so weak these past couple years, is I'm paying them a combined like $5 million. Some 84 overall players want $9 million. You gotta save money where you can out here. Okay, the fact that we finished out the season so strong is very surprising. A 56-22-4 record. We're first in the entire league, almost 4 goals per game, but the defense 2.73. That might be the best defense we've ever had. The fact that we're having the best defense we ever had in the year 2043 doesn't make much sense to me. On top of that, we're getting a career season from Markstrom, 106 points, 55 goals, 51 helpers. Shannon, he's picking up 89 points here. Didn't think I would see that. Clifford, 87. This team's full of surprises this season. And I thought these might be the best numbers of your career. 48 wins, 9 shouts, a 913, and 254. The three-peat's on the way. It's time to lock in. So it's time for us to complete that three-peat. No messing around here. We got to play the best hockey we've ever played before, and we're starting off against the Washington Capitals. We've been able to beat this team a few times. It's time for us to do it again. Washington was a nice little warm-up for us. It's a quick 5-game series, and we're off to the second round. I mean, this game right here, definitely not ideal. A 7-6 victory because we allowed 6 goals. But hey, a win is a win is a win is a win, and we're off to round 2. So we're 12 wins away from a three-peat. Carolina got eliminated in the first round, so we don't have to worry about matching up against them in the conference finals. Let's just beat Detroit. No messing around here. 12 wins in a row, and let's just win a Stanley Cup. No, like real talk, we're actually just done messing around here. 12 wins in a row. I can't waste my time having this series go to game 7. A quick sweep and we're off to the conference finals. I told you, we weren't messing around. I'm simulating up to the 13th because I'm assuming the conference finals is going to start around here. Yeah, like I'm not even going to the playoff picture. We're just going to simulate this round right here. The Philadelphia Flyers, let's simulate it. Let's just wrap it up real quick. Okay, it's not going to be a sweep and we drop 2 straight games. We don't drop 3 straight around here. Okay, we've been shut out in 2 of the last 3 games and we've only scored 2 goals. It's time for the offense to wake up here. That is a shame. I was running my mouth way too much for this offense to completely stall. Also, I do want to say right now before we look at stats, Clifford had 11 points in the first 5 games. I am very curious to see how many points he finished with. Like in that first round series, he picked up 11 points. Clifford ended up finishing with 14 points. So that means over the next 10 games, he picked up 4 points. The big time players did not show up when we needed them to. Clifford showed up in the first round, there's no doubt about that. After that though, he was not that guy. Methot, he was also not that guy. A 907 and a 270. We already know what this team needs to win Stanley Cups. Goaltending has to be fantastic, and the forward core has to be fantastic. That's not what happened today. Okay, so I had a theory, and I think my theory is correct. There is no good right defenseman anymore. Here's all of Anaheim's right defensemen. The best being an 85 overall Pelika, but he's going to be retiring soon. We go over to the Arizona Coyotes, no good right defenseman. The Boston Bruins, no good right defenseman. Buffalo Sabres, 1 good right defenseman. So we have gone through 4 teams, and there's been 1 good right defenseman. We move on to the Calgary Flames, no good right defenseman. Carolina Hurricanes, no good right defenseman. We're in the year 2043, and there are no right defensemen anymore. I've been working on trying to build up our right side for how many years now, and I haven't been able to because there's no good right defenseman. So what I'm going to be doing from now on is I'm drafting left defensemen and they're playing on the right side. The Colorado Avalanche, for example, they have 2 right defensemen on this team. That includes prospects and everything. There are teams out here that just do not have right defensemen. And if they do have right defensemen, they all suck. Like this guy right here, he's a 59 overall. He's not going to do anything for you. The Edmonton Oilers, no good right defenseman here. Why is that a thing? Like, why are there just no right defensemen? With that being said, we're about to trade for a left defenseman. This 78 overall, yeah, he's joined the team and he's probably going to play next season. So as I said, we got to pick up some left defensemen that are going to play on the right side. And that's what this one from the Colorado Avalanche is going to do. He's a 78 overall. He's jumping into the lineup next season. And that's not going to be the only left defenseman we're picking up because we're also going to be picking up another one from the Calgary Flames. But this one's a 75 overall. And to finish off the draft, we're picking up a guy from the Florida Panthers, 75 overall or something. I don't know, maybe he'll jump into the lineup in 2 years. Paulson's actually going to be signing a pretty good contract here for a 24-year-old. Since he's a 79 overall, he doesn't want the big bucks, but we're going to give him 1.8 for the next 5 years. If he accepts this deal, that would actually be really good for our team. All right, we're going to be saving a lot of money here for a 79 overall. I mean, he's not a great player by any means, but he's going to help us with the money. Because Bjorkstrand, who's 4 overalls higher, he wants 8.1 million. I'm not giving him 8.1 million. That's just not happening. So this is going to be the lone trade we make this season. 2 RFAs over to the Calgary Flames. We're going to be bringing 1 top 6 potential guy. He's an 80 overall. He'll be here for this season. But we're also going to get a 3rd round pick in this deal. The 3rd round pick's the thing I care about the most because we can package that up for more prospects in the future. So we do have a lot of extra cap space this time around. So we're going to sign an 84 overall player. He's wanting 7.7 million. I can work with that. I mean, he wanted 5.6, but he wants a 3-year deal. 7.7 will get him onto this team. Just look at some of the numbers these players are asking for though. There's a guy up here that wants $20 million. I forget what overall he is. All I know is he wants $20 million. 91 overall, 32 years old. He wants $20 million for the next 3 years. Things have just gotten out of hand. Also, when you look at the defenseman, it's even worse. Every defenseman just wants a bag. It does not matter what overall you are. Look at Hickman here. He's an 81 with top 6 potential. He wants $10 million. Why would I ever give you $10 million? I will sign this defenseman though. $1 million for the next 2 years. He's a 78 overall. I don't care. At that cap hit, it's worth it. All right, so the forward core is the same here. I'm not really sure if we're quite as good as we used to be. I think we've actually taken a slight step back here. But you know what? We're always finishing as a top team, and I don't see that changing this season. Our defensive core is still looking pretty strong here. The lowest overall being a 78. I don't care if we have some left defensemen playing on the right side. We actually don't. We have 3 right defensemen. Who would have thought? I definitely wasn't expecting that. Goaltending wise, I thought you're going to have to play about 82 games here because Zach Lowry's dropped to a 75 overall. I did not consider the fact that when I signed this man, he was 34 years old. He would probably decline a little bit. And that's exactly what happened. He dropped to a 75 overall. But you know what? We're going to be perfectly fine. We're going to get back to the postseason. We're going to try to go on another deep run. And ideally, we get another Stanley Cup in these final 5 years. So another season is complete here, and it's another season the Montreal Canadiens sitting at the top of the league, a 50-24-8 record. We already know what this team does. Markstrom, he's leading the way this time, 99 points. I don't know why I said he's leading the way this time. He's always leading the way for us. Clifford, 85 points. Shannon's picking up 83 points here, and with the goaltending, Sergei Mathot continues to do his normal thing. He wins games for us. That's what he's here for. We're taking on the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round. This is a team that we've been able to beat a handful of times. I wouldn't be surprised if we beat them again here. I also wouldn't be surprised though if Carolina put up a good fight against us because they are a good team. Okay, for a second I thought we were going to get swept here, and if we did get swept, I was going to refer to these 2 games right here where we beat them in back-to-back days. But right now the series has been split 2 games apiece. We're winning game 5, 7-0, so we should close out in game number 6 here. Unfortunately, that's not happening. We're off to game 7. Now, should we be in game 7 right now? Absolutely not. So ideally, we just close this out real quick. Okay, they have Connor Bedard. We actually have to be careful here. It's a 1-goal game entering the 3rd period. We have the lead, luckily, but they do have Connor Bedard, so that could change real quick. Luckily, we're getting past Carolina. The second I saw Bedard's face, I got scared because that man could just lock in and pick up 5 goals in one game. I've seen it happen. So after beating Connor Bedard and the Carolina Hurricanes, we moved on to the next round. We're taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa's been a powerhouse this entire rebuild so far, so we got to be prepared for this next matchup. Even in a potential conference finals matchup, Washington or Philly, those are 2 fantastic teams here. No matter what happens from here on out, we're taking on some of the best in the entire league. So we've been exchanging games with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Game 5, someone's going to be taking the lead in the series. Thankfully, it's going to be us. And in game 6, we're going to close this out. A big 8-1 victory. That was a massive victory, actually. 8-1. We're scoring 8 goals in game number 6. That's a tough elimination game, not gonna lie. If you're losing 8-1 in an elimination game, that is just tough. Then again, what did the Florida Panthers do in the Stanley Cup final last season? And that game they lost, which allowed Vegas to win the Stanley Cup, didn't they allow like 9 goals or something? Vegas was just different. Then again, look at Vegas this season right now. That team is locked and loaded. They just picked up Tomas Hertl. They picked up Noah Hannafin the other day. Say what you want about Vegas. They know how to think outside the box. I did not think there was a world in which Tomas Hertl was getting traded in the next like 3 years. How out of all teams Vegas was able to do it? No, they know what they're doing. Also, I completely ignored the fact that we beat the Philadelphia Flyers. We're in the Stanley Cup final here, taking on the Calgary Flames. It's been a minute since we were in the Stanley Cup final, so I think it's time we get another one. I mean, it really hasn't been that long. What has it been? 1-2 seasons max? Montreal's been in this position before and they know how to win games here. So here we go, the Stanley Cup final. Montreal Canadiens taking on the Calgary Flames, an all-Canadian matchup, and we destroyed them. Calgary scored 3 goals in the Stanley Cup final here. We shut them out in 2 of the games. In this game, they scored 1 goal. In this game, they scored 2. 3 goals in the Stanley Cup final. That is an awful way to go out. And we already know how it works when it comes to the Stanley Cup final. The top players are making plays. Markstrom, 26 points in 22 games. If he's recording over 20 points, you already know we're winning a Stanley Cup. And Sergei Mathot, 16 wins, 3 shouts, a 918, a 241. You're 32 years old. You're going to be getting pretty old in these final couple years of the rebuild. But you know what? We only have 4 more years left. I'm keeping you here for the next 4. Unless you retire on us, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. Alright, so I'm cooking up a plan here, and I think this plan makes a lot of sense in my my head. It's going to be the 32nd overall, a 4th rounder, and a 5th rounder over to the Arizona Coyotes for a future first round pick. That pick is going to skyrocket in value the second we get into the offseason. Okay, so I think I actually finally drafted a good prospect here. It only took till 2044, but we got a medium elite potential goaltender. It took a long time, but here we are. Okay, so we have $16 million in cap space here. We can make a lot of moves, but we're not going to be making any moves here. We're qualifying a bunch of RFAs. If you're a UFA, you're going to be leaving this team. So I was planning on bringing Scrivens back here. You know what? He's been a good piece to this team. And then I saw how much his asking price is. $15 million for an 85 overall. So we're going to be trading him real quick. And when I say real quick, I mean right now. So since Scrivens is going to be asking for such a ridiculous deal, we're going to be trading him over to the Philadelphia Flyers. We're getting Buelis. He's an 88 overall right winger. He's a good playmaker for this team. That's going to be a massive upgrade from Scrivens. I'm really surprised that this package isn't enough, but you know what? A 7th rounder is going to make the difference. And then we're immediately going to be trading Montreal's first round pick because I have no clue why this pick has so much value. So we're making this deal right here. Now it's time to get rid of Montreal's pick. Okay, the pick's dropped in value since making that one, but even still, there was no reason it should have had that much value. And I know for a fact that Buelis is going to be asking for more money, but I'm actually perfectly fine with that because he is an 88 overall and he's going to keep on getting better. So how much money do you want? $16 million, that is quite a bit for the next 3 years. But you know what? We'll get something to work here. So how about $14.7 million for the next 3 years? We'll keep you on this team for the rest of the rebuild. All right, we're going to make 2 signs during free agency here, but they're just one-way deals. We're going to be giving Elliott $6 million. Actually, that's a lie. We're going to be doing way less than that. We're going to try $5 million for 1 year. If he accepts this deal, that would be great for our team, but I don't think he will be. Similar to the deal with Elliott, we're going to be trying Welch here, and we're going to do a 5.2 for next season. I also don't think he's going to be accepting this deal, but if he does, that would be huge for us. 2 great pieces to the bottom, 6 on 1 year deals. And to finish all the deals off here, we're doing 5.8 to Theodore. I think he'd be another nice piece to the bottom 6. Now, are these guys going to be accepting these contracts? Probably not. But if they do, we're in a really good spot. So Theodore didn't sign the deal because we didn't have enough money for him, but 5.7 is going to be enough. So we got 4 years left in the rebuild here, and ideally, we're going to be bringing home 3 Stanley Cups. The forward core might not be looking as strong as usual, but you know what? We can win Stanley Cups with this forward core. The defense is actually better this season. Our top guys are still looking good, but the next 2 pairings have actually improved a little bit. We're getting a +1 boost here on the second pairing. We got 2 guys with X Factor, so that's actually a pretty good sign. I feel like if we move these lines up a little bit, we actually might be in a better spot, but you know what? We're not going to worry about it. We're just going to rock with what the coach prefers. And then for goaltending, Method, he's dropped to an 85 overall. He's declining a lot faster than I thought. He might not make it till the end of the video. Also, Gabriel Degg's the backup, so shout out to him. I forgot to sign one, so the AI signed me one. Alright, so once again, the Montreal Canadiens are going to be sitting at the top of the league with a 52-21-9 record. The offense is fantastic like usual, but our defense was absolutely spectacular this season. Never mind, I thought we were the best in the entire league by far. I just saw when we were first in the entire league what our offense compared to the rest of the teams. Like Montreal, look at the goals against here. I saw ours and then I saw San Jose's. I thought we were on a different level. And then St. Louis is right here. It should be no surprise they're a fantastic team as well. Basically, the short version of this is I gassed up the Montreal Canadiens way too much. Markstrom, no surprise, you're going to be leading the team, 104 points here, 53 goals, 51 helpers. Buelis, that was a great pickup. He's got 101 points. And the goaltending Method, 42 wins, 1 shot, a 904 and a 285, and he's dropped to an 84 overall. This man might actually retire on us because he's dropping an overall way quicker than I was expecting. I'm just hoping he can hold on for one more postseason run, one more Stanley Cup here. Of course, we got a repeat. Method, you got to get one more before you pack it in. So we've been exchanging games with the Toronto Maple Leafs. We have the lead in game 5 though, and that means we're going to close this series out in 6 games. A 5-3 victory and we're off to the second round. I don't know why I was scared. We're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know for a fact we're not losing in the first round to them. Like seriously, I'm worried about the Toronto Maple Leafs beating us in the first round. The Toronto Maple Leafs of all teams. They're not beating us in the first round. That's just so unrealistic. We moved on to the second round. The Detroit Red Wings, they're a pretty competitive team of the year 2045, so they're going to put up a good fight against us. All right, so this certainly isn't ideal. We're currently down 3-1 in this series against the Detroit Red Wings. We got to start the comeback in game number 5. That's exactly what we're doing with a 4-2 victory. And in game 6, we're taking this one as well. That's going to be an overtime victory, and now we're off to game 7. So we got to lock in big time. We got to make the 3-1 series comeback. A lot of goals are going to be scored in the first period. A couple more are getting scored during the second, so it's a 3-3 game. Whoever wins the third period is going to be winning this game, and it looks like it's going to be us. We're scoring 3 straight goals here, and now we're off to the conference finals once again. So we got past the Detroit Red Wings, making a big 3-1 series comeback, and now we're in the conference finals. 8 games away from repeating, but first we have to get past the Ottawa Senators. We can't get ahead of ourselves here. So Ottawa's not even putting up a fight against us. After getting by Detroit, no one's going to be able to stop the Montreal Canadiens. We're scoring a ton of goals here. 4 straight games of scoring 5+, and we're back in the Stanley Cup final for the second year in a row. So here we go, the Stanley Cup final, a chance of completing the repeat here. We were able to repeat once in this video so far, but when it came to the three-peat, we were unable to close that out. Now we're looking to three-peat here, but first we got to start with the repeat. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's beat Edmonton real quick. So this is something. We're currently down 3-1 in the series, and we've lost 4 straight games. All right, it's time to rebuild. I mean, not rebuild, we're retooling this team. That is just unfortunate. Like 4 straight losses here where we played no defense. Mathot, I think you played your final game in a Montreal Canadiens jersey. Okay, so Markstrom clearly wasn't the issue because that man had 15 goals and 11 assists for 26 points. Buelis, he had 30. The goaltending numbers, though, this is why we lost. Mathot, you're not that guy anymore. We're bringing in a new goaltender. You're being traded. So with 3 years left in the rebuild, it's time to start making some very questionable decisions. A second, third, and fourth rounder over to the Arizona Coyotes, and I want to get their first round pick for next season. As we know, once we get to the offseason, this pick's going to skyrocket in value, and I think this package is going to get it. So we've got 1 first round pick. Now that's not going to be the only first rounder we're acquiring, because we're also going to be sending this package over to the Detroit Red Wings, and we're going to be getting their first round pick as well. But we're not done with first round picks yet. And to cap it all off, Edmonton's first round pick for next season, we're also going to be acquiring that. They think they got an incredible deal here, but all these first round picks that we just acquired, they're going to skyrocket in value in the offseason, and then we're going to make some big trades to finish out the video. We're going to be trading for guys on the rookie contract, 3 years left that are like 82 overalls. Safe to say we're going to be in a very good spot. So during the re-sign phase, we're qualifying RFAs. All these UFAs are going to be walking. We're going to have some money to give out some extensions because there's a handful of guys that are going to need extensions. We're going to be in a tough spot, but you know what? This team's ready to bounce back. Okay, I'm not going to lie. This is absolutely ridiculous, but we have to do it. Markstrom, $18 million per year for the next 7 seasons. I've given you that deal. Now what's Clifford looking for? Clifford's going to be a bit more reasonable here. We're going to do sub 16 million. I think we're actually just going to do 16 million on the dot. So 16 million for the next 3 years. That's quite an expensive deal, but you know what? It's going to work out for this team. Harrison, we're probably going to let you walk, or we're going to make a trade involving you. I haven't decided yet. But first, we have to go get a new goaltender. So Mathot, I want to personally thank you for all the amazing years you've had with this team. But it's time for a change of scenery, and we're going to be bringing in this goaltender from the Pittsburgh Penguins, 26 years old. He's a 90 overall, only $1 million more. This is a deal that just has to get done right now. Thankfully, we do have a couple RFAs that I can include in this deal, and we're going to be able to get this done pretty easily. Well, I thought we were going to be able to get this done pretty easily. I think we have to throw some defensemen in this deal. So I'm going to include a prospect and 4th rounder in this deal. I'm going to send it over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Unfortunately, they're going to be saying no here, but I'll do a 2nd rounder as well. So 2 seconds, a 3rd, a prospect, and Mathot sent over to the Penguins, and that's still not enough. I'm actually very surprised at this. You know what? We'll use a 1st rounder if we have to. So we're going to do a 1st, 2nd, 3rd rounder, Mathot over to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we're going to be getting that elite goaltender. Unfortunately, they are still saying no to this, but you know what? A 7th rounder is going to make the difference. So all of these picks right here, and we just got our goaltender for the future. And when I say future, I mean next 3 years. All right, so a couple years ago, we had a guy by the name of Boyd on this team. Now we're bringing him back to the team. We're going to be shipping Thorne over to the Edmonton Oilers, and we're also going to be freeing up some money in this deal. So we're going to bring in Betts. He's on his rookie deal here, an 81 overall, medium elite potential. The 1st rounder from the Red Wings as well as Harrison's going to be sent over. We're getting this deal done right here. So not only are we going to be able to keep this guy on our team for the next 3 years on his rookie contract, but we also freed up a lot of money. We're going to make some big free agent signings. So we're not done with the moves yet because we're also going to be picking up the sniper from the Edmonton Oilers. I know we've already made a trade with Edmonton, but we're going to be making another one here. This 87 overall sniper, I feel like he's going to be a good asset to the team. Unfortunately, they're saying no to this deal right here. I'll throw a 6th rounder in and we're going to get this deal done. It's fairly simple. He's going to be on the team for the rest of this rebuild. We have $30 million in cap space to work with still, and we're not done with the moves yet. So this is going to be the final big trade where we're bringing in Cyrus Day, 25 years old, a 90 overall, a 1st rounder, and one of the RFAs we qualified. Now we got to fill out the rest of the team here. The defensive core is going to be a bit weak, but man, is this team going to be able to score goals. So we're going to make a risk in free agency. I don't think we're going to be able to sign this guy to a 1-year deal, but if we can, $11.3 million for next season, that would be huge for us. The odds of this contract getting accepted, incredibly low, but if it does get accepted, then we're winning a Stanley Cup. All right, so we got 3 years left in the rebuild. Basically, we're just going to try to outscore the other teams. Our bottom 6 is not going to be good. I mean, it's not too bad. We have 179 overall here. The defense, not the greatest in the world either, but we do have an amazing top pairing. And the goaltending, we have a 90 overall goalie. So we have by far the best top 6 in the game, the best 1st pairing, and the best goaltender. I think that's enough to win a Stanley Cup. The third and fourth line, I don't care about. The CPU can fill that out for the next 2 years. I actually really don't care. As long as we keep our top 6 together, we're winning a couple Stanley Cups here. All right, I'm about to do something I have never done before, and this is going to be by far the stupidest thing I've ever done. 63, 14, and 5, scoring almost 5 goals per game, only allowing 2.54. This is by far the greatest team I have ever constructed. Look at the scoring here, absolutely unreal. Markstrom, 62 goals, 61 helpers, 123 points. The goaltending, incredible. 50 wins, 3 shots, a 912 and a 251. Now you might be wondering, what is this stupid thing that I'm about to do? Well, we're not going to simulate game by game. We're not going to simulate series by series. No, we are simulating till the end of the postseason. We're not paying attention in the slightest. We're just going to watch this team win a Stanley Cup. So without further ado, let's simulate the playoffs here. If we lose in the first round to the Buffalo Sabres, I actually might lose my mind. So far, things are looking pretty good. We're off to the second round. We got the Boston Bruins up next. I don't think the Boston Bruins are going to be able to stop this team. Of course they're not. We're sweeping the Boston Bruins. We're off to the conference finals. The New York Rangers are up next. What are the New York Rangers going to do against us? Absolutely nothing. We're sweeping them as well. Now we have the Nashville Predators. Ain't no way this is actually working out for me. Game 5, we're going to be dropping that one. But you know what? That's perfectly fine. We're going to win Game 6 here. Okay, we're off to Game 7. I said I wasn't going game by game. We're just going to simulate Game 7 here. That didn't happen. Nope. That didn't happen. Nope. That did not happen. Nope. I didn't see that happen. Nope. Off to next season. Yep, that happened. Oh my God. A 3-1 series lead with the greatest team of all time. And to make it even worse, all those picks I traded away, the 7th, 8th, 9th overall. I can't believe that happened. That really happened. I traded the 7th, 8th, and 9th overall pick away in order to rebuild this team. I am sick. Okay, we don't learn from our mistakes. Boston Bruin first round pick for next season. There we go. We just trade for it. We're doing the exact same thing we did last offseason. All right, so Boston's picks got a fair bit of trade value. We're going to be trading it away because we don't have time for prospects to develop. We're picking up this young guy from the Winnipeg Jets. He's on his rookie deal still. 83 overall right winger. He can play for us. Deal's getting accepted. We have him for the rest of this rebuild as well. And we're going to keep on making risky moves here. Another medium elite potential player. He's an 85 overall, 20 years old. This deal is probably going to get accepted. I don't know what else I'm going to have to throw into this deal. I'll give you a second rounder as well. What we're going to be doing in this offseason after I make this deal makes absolutely no sense, and it's going to be incredibly risky. Here's a third round pick as well. All of this really isn't enough for this guy. All right, we're going to pick up somebody else instead. All right, so this is going to be the final deal. 2 first rounders and one of our RFAs over to the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're picking up Gunnarsson. He's got medium elite potential. Now, I said last season, once we fill out the top 6, I'm just going to simulate and let the AI fill out the rest of the team. That's how confident I am. I wasn't kidding about that. We are legit going to have the AI fill out the rest of this team. I don't care if we have 60 overalls on our bottom pairing. We're going to work with what we have. We could have the worst bottom 6 of all time, and the second and third pairing could be absolutely abysmal. But you know what this team's going to do? Score 5 goals a game. That's what we did last season. We just scored 5 goals a game. One of our RFAs is actually going to accept their qualifying offer, so that works out a lot for this team. We have a good goaltender, good top 6, good defense. The rest of this team is going to be absolutely chopped. But you know what? That's going to be perfectly fine. Look how many 60 overalls were signed to this team. We are not going to succeed, but we're risking it. So this is what the forward core is going to be looking like. A lot of 90 overalls with superstar X factors, a ton of guys out of position. I don't even know how many players we actually have playing in their correct position. But you know what? That doesn't matter because this team's going to score a lot of goals. Defensively, we're actually a lot better than I was expecting. I was expecting 60 overalls here, but you know what? 281s, a 90, and an 88. I can definitely take that. And the goaltending, he's got a superstar X factor, 90 overall. We're going to win 60 plus games again this season. Now, I know there's going to be comments saying, oh, why do you have guys out of position? You should have everyone playing the right position, blah, blah, blah. Okay, when you get 25 years in, this game was not meant to be played 25 years in. Plain and simple. Also, I should probably check to see if I have to give anyone an extension for the final year. But yeah, 25 years into this video, I don't think EA expected anyone to make it this far because the game completely breaks. Alright, so I'm a man that stands on business. First in the entire league, 59, 17, and 6. We score goals and we don't allow goals in the slightest. Obviously, the offense wasn't quite as good this season. We didn't have as many 90 overalls, but it's still looking absolutely fantastic here, and the goaltending, great as well. Last season, I decided to simulate the entire playoffs, and things went absolutely fantastic until the final 3 games. We're doing the exact same thing. It worked all the way till the final round. Actually, it worked all the way up until the last 3 games where we should have won a Stanley Cup. We are standing on business once again. We're not simulating the first 4 games. No, we're going to simulate the entire postseason here, and we're going to watch this team win a Stanley Cup. We literally just lost game 1. We lost game 1 and we lost game 3. Okay, we might be out in the first round. We're done. We're actually done here unless we come back. Okay, that should not have happened. We should not have made that comeback, but you know what? We've got all the momentum. Let's keep on rolling. A sweep over the Detroit Red Wings. How is this happening? In all seriousness right now, we should not be in the conference finals, and we're about to make the Stanley Cup final. Here we go. We're actually going to stop the simulation here. We're going to simulate 4 games. 4 games last season, we were looking absolutely fantastic. Okay, we're down 3-1. This time we're making a 3-1 series comeback. I'm calling it right now. We're winning game 5. We're going to win game 6 here and we're off to game 7. The opposite is happening. The opposite is going to happen here. We're winning a Stanley Cup. No, like real talk, how is this even happening? Last season, we blew a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. This season, we're making a comeback from a 3-1 series deficit. It doesn't make sense. We just won a Stanley Cup. We shut them out in game 7. I don't know what to say. The Montreal Canadiens are the most confusing team of all time. No, like seriously, we were down 3-1 in the first round. We were down 3-1 in the Stanley Cup final, but here we are, winning a Stanley Cup. The goaltending spectacular. You already know that. We're running it back for next season. The entire core is coming back. Well, all the important pieces. The bottom 6 is going to suck. The second and third defensive pairing is going to suck. But you know what? We don't need those guys. This team's incredible. Okay, so this worked for us last season. We were able to get a crucial part to the team. Boston, give me your first round pick once again. I'm doing whatever it takes. And we're also going to trade our 2049 first round pick over to the Buffalo Sabres because Buffalo's pick is going to be more valuable than ours. They're going to be saying no to this original deal, but I'll throw a 6th and 7th rounder into the deal, and now they're going to be accepting it. So we have Boston's pick and we have Buffalo's. We're flipping those for elite potential players. Okay, so I just qualified RFAs. We're not signing any UFAs here. I don't care about scouts and all that. This is the final season. If I've done my math right, I really hope this is the final season. I haven't done my math completely wrong. Now we already know how this works. First round pick from the Boston Bruins has a ton of trade value. That and a 2nd rounder over to the Buffalo Sabres, and we're bringing in an 87 overall, never mind, an 86 overall defenseman for the final year. That's trade number 1. We're going to build the most incredible defense possible for this final year. I mean, I shouldn't say the most incredible defense. We're going to have 2 really good pairings. And then here's the final trade of the video. We're picking up Cunning from the New Jersey Devils. He's an 84 overall right defenseman. Haven't had many right defensemen on this team in this video, but you know what? He's going to be one of the final ones we see today. And with that trade completed, we're assuming to the beginning of the season, and the CPU is going to be signing the rest of the team. I've signed all the important pieces. We have the entire core coming back here. This team's actually in a better spot because of our defense. So here we go, year number 25 of the rebuild. In these final 5 or so years, I was not rebuilding. I was just getting as many good players as possible, and then whatever happened to the bottom 6 happened. But you know what? This bottom 6 isn't really that bad. Yeah, we have 175 overall, but the rest of this team looks really good. The defense, absolutely spectacular. Look at this top 4. Even the third pairing is not too bad. We have 281 overalls. I can definitely work with that. And the goaltending, we already know that's spectacular. One of the best in the entire game. This team really has a chance to win 65 games. I mean, we're going to completely ignore the fact that our backup goaltender is a 64 overall, but just look at this Montreal Canadiens team. Who would have thought? So the Montreal Canadiens, first in the entire league here, scoring a lot of goals, and the defense is spectacular. We already know this. Markstrom, he's going to go down as one of the greatest Montreal Canadiens of all time. 124 points. I picked this man up how many years ago? And look how he's performed for us. Turned into one of the greatest players of all time. The goaltending numbers, absolutely spectacular. Now, you know, I probably shouldn't do this. I shouldn't just simulate the entire postseason. But you know what? This team has made it to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. We won in Game 7. The other one we're not going to talk about. Simulating the entire postseason seems to be the move. So we're going to continue to do that for the final year. So here we go. One last simulation. The entire video is going to be summed up here. Can we go on one last Stanley Cup run? Okay, we are scoring a lot of goals right now. We're not going to be blowing a massive lead. We've moved on to the 2nd round, and now it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're not losing to the Maple Leafs. That's not going to happen. We continue to score a ton of goals, and now we're in the conference finals. 3rd year in a row we've made it here, and this team's falling apart. This team is choking, and we lost. Okay, we lost in Game 7 there. That is a shame. I probably should have stopped, but you know what? I didn't stop. We were down 3-1. We made some massive comeback here with 2 big wins, but unfortunately in Game 7, we're going to be dropping that one 3-2. That's how this video is going to be ending. We're losing to the Philadelphia Flyers. Markstrom, I'm sorry we couldn't get you one last Stanley Cup. You've been here since the very beginning. Franchise mode is now complete. This was a wild ride. Now I gotta take a quick look at these postseason numbers. Markstrom, 20 points. I think this might be the first postseason where you recorded 20 points and we didn't win a Stanley Cup. I mean, that's actually not true because when we played Nashville in the Stanley Cup final, I know for a fact he had 20 points. The goaltending numbers, that's what let us down. An 898 and a 313. Who does this man think he is? Superstar X Factor, 89 overall, elite potential, and these are the numbers you're putting up. An absolute disgrace. So taking a look at the record book here, Mats Markstrom going down as one of the greatest Montreal Canadiens of all time, as he now leads them in all-time goals with 578. He would definitely lead them in all-time points if we had a couple more years. Less than 100 shy of Guy Lafleur, a couple more years and he's passing him. Now when it comes to single game points, we're not going to be breaking any of these records. Rookie records, I don't think we're breaking any of these. No, of course we're not. Season records, I also don't think we're going to break any of these. I mean, Mats Markstrom, 62 goals. That's going to be the all-time leader for the Montreal Canadiens. So we did break some of those records. Now, when it comes to the NHL in general, what are we going to be looking at here? Jack Hughes is now number one in most games played with 1,802. Jake Ottinger, games played, he's 1,752. That's absolutely wild. When it comes to goal scoring, we have a handful of guys over 1,000, but Olli-Pekka Rainen, he's going to be at the top, 1,161. Wayne Gretzky, he's still going to be at the top in points, but Connor McDavid, 2,319. Okay, like, you were legit. I got to give it to you. He's going to be second in assists here, 1,425. Cale Makar third, Adam Fox fourth, William Nylander fifth. All right, Wayne Gretzky, you're not by yourself anymore. Marty Brodeur, he's going to be number one in wins still, 691. Vasilevsky second, UC Saros third, Marc-Andre Fleury fourth, and Patrick Waugh, he's going to be sitting fifth. When it comes to shutouts, it doesn't look like anything's changing here. Olli-Pekka Rainen, 17 50-goal seasons, the greatest goal scorer of all time. Connor McDavid, he's going to be tied with Wayne Gretzky for 100-point seasons, and that's going to be the entire record book right there. So if you somehow made it all the way to the end of this 25-year rebuild, comment Mats Markstrom. Bro was an absolute legend, all time in goals for the Montreal Canadiens, won a handful of Stanley Cups with us. This wasn't the most successful rebuild of all time, but we did make it to a handful of Stanley Cup finals. We made the conference finals a lot, but this team seemed to choke quite often. There was a 3-year stretch where we were finishing as the number one seed in the entire league and we would lose in the first round. And not in like a 7-game series. No, we were getting blown out of the water in like a 5-game series. Montreal was definitely a disappointment here, but you know what? I think we won about 5 Stanley Cups. I don't think we quite got 6. Like 5 Stanley Cups in 25 years, not the most successful run, but you know what? It could be a lot worse. Like imagine going 55 seasons without winning a Stanley Cup and not winning one since 1967. That would be crazy. I had to take one last shot at the Toronto Maple Leafs.